I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swiped the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details of anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo off in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. U.S., Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology. Cryo-technology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out. Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have 2 very special guests in my kitchen. Please welcome to the podcast, Brett and Eli from Ignite.
What's up?
Thanks for being here, you guys.
Fantastic being here.
That was in unison.
I wasn't about to try to pronounce your last name. I always know you, Brett from Ignite.
Yep. Rasmussen. Just think of it
Rasmussen.
like Anderson or Peterson.
I got to get this down, dude, because I'm glad you asked, because that's it's a little late in the relationship.
Ramison.
Santana, that's your last name?
Santana,
That's
yeah.
a hard last name, bro.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's bold.
Okay, so when I have 2 guests on, obviously you're both in the same band, but I like to hear like some stories of your life. Are you both born in California?
Brett was, yeah.
Yeah. Eli was. I'll talk in third person.
I can tell by your voices.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So, but you guys didn't know each other growing up, or no?
Not at all. I didn't meet Eli really till a few years ago when he started coming out, hanging out with us at Ignite shows.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So you were a fan of Ignite.
Yeah. For 22 years now.
Wow. That's crazy.
Which is cool because it wasn't like somebody who didn't know anything about us, or it was like a dude who was like into the band and he's into the songs, already knew the songs, like just as a listener. I mean, of course, learning all the lyrics is a different whole thing, but just knowing the songs, knowing the melodies, knowing the vibe, knowing the feel, seeing us play at shows, hanging backstage with us, it was just like, it felt really good.
And so did you have auditions?
Well, we did, but it was weird because Zoli leaves right at the end of 19.
Yep.
And then the whole world shuts down.
Yeah.
So we have some European guys going, oh, I want to sing, or it's a couple East Coast guys, but how do you can't fly anywhere. All the rehearsal rooms are shut down, can't get together and jam anywhere. So it was like kind of via email, how it started with dudes.
Wow.
We'd send them a track of music from an instrumental from one of our albums, and then they'd send it back and we'd listen to it. But it's kind of hard to judge off of, because everybody's got Pro Tools or Logic, and they can tweak stuff, and so it's about getting into a room.
100%.
So we got into a room with a few guys and it just didn't feel right at all. Like a couple of the guys,
were they hitting the notes and stuff?
Yeah, it was cool, but it just didn't feel like it was the right thing. It was a little bit more rough and raw. It wasn't like a clean voice, which is a big...
It's serious shoes to fill. Like
it is.
His vocals are like very...
And so I was on the way home from one of the auditions, and I called up our drummer, Craig, and I go, dude, there's got to be a metal guy. There's got to be a metal guy that can sing and hit notes that is out there that would be a good fit for us or would want to do it or whatever. And he goes... Craig's like, well, let me hit up my buddy Eli, who plays guitar in Holy Grail, and see if he knows anybody. And that's kind of how that started. Craig didn't even know he could sing.
Wow.
Yeah. And so you get the call.
Well, Craig texted me. Well, it's funny, like when it got announced, Zoli quit. Like my good buddy Caldwell, he like texted me. He's like, dude, you should sing for Ignite. And we kind of like laughed about it.
Yeah.
And then like, I get a text from Craig and I'm super drunk. And I'm like, well, what's he got to do? Like, I'll do it, all like Liquid Courage. And then the next day I get this like email with these like tracks and I'm like, oh shit, like that was real.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't like, oh, like what I was like excited to work on these like songs that I loved. It was just like fun to like record my voice on like the actual like Darkest Days like instrumentals. And I was like, dude, this is so much fun. And I was like, working on like my own project, and I just like, oh fuck it, this is way more fun. I'll work on this. And then I kind of sent it off and just like didn't think. I just felt like it was a long shot.
Yeah. How long did you take to record this stuff? Did you like?
I did like it was like over a couple days. Like I did a couple versions, and I just had fun like taking what was there and then adding like a little bit of my own thing to it.
Yeah.
But like you were saying with like you can fix a lot of shit in Pro Tools. But
totally.
I'm pretty dumb with that stuff, so it was like I had to actually sing this shit.
Yeah.
And so when we got in the room, well, actually from there. They sent me 2 of the songs for the new record.
Okay.
And it was like dark. It was like it was already a departure from anything just musically they had done. I was like, okay, dude, I kind of have to be a part of this shit. Like,
when we sent him the song Bleeding, I think, and Poverty for All, right?
Yeah.
Those 2. And then those are the songs we had been sending out. Like, sing on these. These are two of our most popular songs. Let's start with that. Yeah. And when we got it back, we were like, oh, wow, this is awesome. We were super stoked on it. And he definitely put his own flair because there was some like metal Ronnie James Dio vibrato stuff, and he was kind of like a little metal like shrill in there, and it was like because he was kind of like showing like this is who I am, this is what I do, and but the fact that it was like in that ballpark with the notes and the vibe, and then he was calling us and like super like anxious and not anxious but super excited to do it, and it was like so that weighed a lot into it. Yeah,
I mean you kill it, man. It's amazing, man. When I first heard the song, I think I heard the song before maybe I heard the song before I saw you or just anything of it. You know what I mean? Like, holy crap, man. Like, it's serious shoes because Zoli's voice is very particular. It's got a very certain kind of sound to it. You know what I mean? It's very distinct.
Very distinct voice.
Man. And it's congrats,
and
man.
we didn't want to just... Dude, we knew like these are different human beings, different voices, different timbres, different. You're not going to get a carbon copy. So it was like, and that's what we didn't want to do. We didn't want to go like, okay, we're just going to try and replicate. It's like we wanted to be excited about a new chapter and a new direction, and you can't just try and copy, Yeah. So that was like kind of like our whole mindset was like,
no, it's his style, but it also has sounds like Ignite. You know what I mean? But it's still him, and his flair, his style. You know what I mean? So you do all the songwriting?
We all collaborate.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely do. Nick writes a ton. Kevin.
Are they being weird to your earphones?
Yeah, I lost my headphone a little bit.
Oh, shoot.
I'm all right.
Is it in and out over there?
Yeah, it just like cut out. Let me see.
It happened before when that...
Oh, there it is. That was not plugged in all the way.
Oh, it wasn't?
Right there. Is that better?
No.
You can't hear it now?
Oh, then we're back.
Okay.
Just can't move it like that.
All right.
So we all collaborate on the songwriting.
Yeah.
Nick, me, Kevin, like we like all, and dude, guitar player right here.
Yeah, that's sick.
Shredder.
Yeah.
That was a cool thing too, because it was like we started writing for the record, and we're kind of jump around.
But how many songs did you have before he auditioned for the new record?
10 or 15.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
maybe more, but we didn't want it. Like, it was like, hey, what do we do? Do we just give them all of them? And that's like a little bit like overwhelming, or do we just
so overwhelming?
Yeah, so we'd give him like 2 or 3 at a time, the new ones, and then he would be like, "Oh man, this one's amazing. Yeah, this next one's cool." So it was also nice.
I didn't realize I was that transparent.
It was also nice getting that feedback because it was like it was the first person outside of us as 4 songwriters we were getting feedback on the material.
Yeah.
So it was cool. So
honest feedback
of like, hey, I'm gonna sing on this. I think I can add to this, and so it was cool hearing that feedback about which songs like popped to him. And it was, I think in general, as you know, as a songwriter, that kind of the cream rises to the top of songs. Like you're like, okay, everybody knows these 5 songs are the the best ones. And then everybody has their own opinions on beyond that. But yeah,
100%.
But yeah, writing the stuff, we tried to get as much. We also didn't know if we were going to get a singer, if he was going to be able to write songs. Some people don't. Some people aren't songwriters. So we're like, we're going to get as much work done as we can. We're all stuck at home during the pandemic. There's nothing else to do but either like work on your house or write music, as you know.
Totally.
And so we just got into it. You know, you doing the podcast a ton. I loved all the, like, it seemed like you even ramped it up more when it was like during the pandemic. But
thank you.
No, but so it was like we just said, let's write everything: vocals, lyrics, melodies. Not just riffs, but complete songs. So when we were turning in demos to him, they already had vocals on it. Nick was singing a ton of the vocals as like kind of a blueprint.
Scratch track.
Basically.
He has a great voice. It was like one of those things like, I was like, shit, if like they don't find anybody, like they have this.
Oh, wow.
And which is really cool about this record is that we got Nick singing like all over the record.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like
Has he always done that?
He sings a lot live, but he never really, beyond like Gangs, did we have a second voice on any of the records.
Okay.
Zoli would just usually sing all the melodies and the harmonies and stuff.
Yeah.
But like for me, like when you hear it live and you hear Nick's voice live and it matches the recording, it's even cooler.
Yeah.
You know, I think.
I was thinking about, say, like how Zoli went and sang for Misfits and then he sang for Pennywise. So he probably knows what it's like when replacing somebody as a singer, you know what I mean? All that just... and trying out for stuff, and it's interesting. It's
totally
cool. Yeah,
totally. And a good buddy of ours who sang in Ignite on a tour, John Bunch, he was telling us about when he was filling in with Further Seems Forever.
Okay.
When Chris Kraba, I think, wasn't in it.
Wow.
And then he was in it, but then
that's insane.
Yeah, it was like, so hearing those stories from him too about jumping in, because when he was singing on that Ignite tour in 2012, he was like, it wasn't the first time he had done it, and he was like kind of relaying that whole experience to us, how weird it can be for fans to go, oh, that's not the guy.
I know.
And they can be pretty, but whatever. I believe people like, you know, want to root for you.
Of course.
I think I always root for bands as long as it's good.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be terrible, but
I want all my friends to succeed and have fun and do this for as long as they can do it for.
Yep.
So you're the original.
I am.
So you've been in this band how many years?
Me and Joe Foster started working on this stuff in '92.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we were playing for a short time in this punk band called Mad Parade.
I know Mad Parade.
Yeah.
Is that the original Mad Parade?
So Billy Ledge is the original singer.
Okay, I know Mad Parade.
So I met Joe. Joe tried out for my band, Joe Foster. He was in the middle of traveling around the world, modeling, doing all this stuff.
I remember that.
He hits me up after he had jammed with my band, and he goes, hey, I'm playing bass in this band called Mad Parade. And I had never heard of Mad Parade because that wasn't really my scene. And he goes, why don't you play bass and I'll play second guitar? I go, okay. I didn't really know Joe either, but he was just, Joe's crazy. And like, he's like, I want to play guitar in this band. I know you play bass. So we started jamming with those guys for like a month. Yeah. And I just thought that me and Joe would have more fun writing our own stuff. So we played with those guys for like a month and then started writing songs towards Ignite with just a drum machine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that your first band?
No, I had done a high school band and then I had done a band right after high school, which ended up having dudes in it that I didn't know at the time, but like our drummer, Phil Hansen, went on to be in Game Face. Oh, wow. And then he was replaced with Ron Welty, who was at that time in '91 in The Offspring.
Oh, damn.
And they had just put out their Nemesis record. And
crazy, man.
Yeah, but it was just Ron from down the street. They're like, we were jamming together. And
what was that band called?
It was called The Jaded.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a Social D meets Psychedelic Furs, kind of more, a little bit more like, because our singer had kind of a raspy voice.
Yeah.
He was in this old Christian punk band called the Lifesavers.
Okay.
And we were around for a few years, and then right at the end when we were looking for a guitar player, our singer was friends with Joe Foster, and he came and tried out, and it didn't work out. And then I kind of thought, to be honest, I was done with music then. I was like 21.
Really?
I was going to school. I was doing construction. I was kind of doing normal stuff, and music was just fun. And I had no expectations of continuing on in music. I just wanted to go to like law school, do something.
I was going to ask you, what was your major in college?
I was in I was gonna go to pre-law, get in pre-law, hopefully go do that whole path, whole route. That's what I wanted to do. It seemed fun, not super exciting. I had way more fun doing music. Yeah. But it was just a hobby.
It wasn't like a career thing for you.
No. And I think that's one of the reasons why for me it was easy to kind of, I don't know, for this to happen, because I would just always let this stuff naturally happen. It didn't feel like I was forced and trying.
That's the best way.
Trying to be a musician and and I was just playing and having fun. That was the biggest thing. Like with Foster and me, was like we were just having a lot of fun. Yeah. Doing it and starting out and then doing demos. And then we got Joe Nelson in the mix to sing on these drum machine demos, and then the band just kind of evolved from there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, in 92, like 92, early 93.
What about you, Eli? What other bands were you in? What was your first band you were in growing up?
My first band was a band called Against the Grain, and then we heard there
Against
was
the Grain after Bad Religion album?
Yeah.
Sick.
But like, and then we heard that name was taken, and then we became Global Scar, and it was kind of like this hardcore metal like mix. Yeah, we were like 15 in San Diego, and we thought we were Biohazard meets Sepultura.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
So we would talk about growing up on the streets of suburb of San Diego.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you liked like New York hardcore and stuff like that back then?
Yeah, like
Sick.
specifically there was like that era of like early 90s, like specifically New York hardcore.
We talked about Life of Agony before too.
Yeah.
Biohazard, yeah.
Yeah, and actually that was like kind of what started me trying to we because I just played guitar, and then we couldn't find a singer that was just cool. Like they all thought they were like Jim Morrison. I'm like, I didn't write any lyrics because it didn't come to me, the spirit. I'm like, fucking shut up. And so we actually just told the dude, we were supposed to pick him up before like our first show, and then we were just like, dude, why don't you just sing? You wrote all the lyrics. I'm like, okay. And I, threw up and then tried to battle the bands for the first time to play and sing.
How old were you?
Wow.
15.
That's awesome.
It's amazing, man.
And then I was like, okay, I want to take this serious. So I would try to get home after football practice before my parents got home, and I would actually try to sing like Life of Agony songs and like,
wow.
Yeah. And it was, good thing there's no recordings of that back then.
So you played football?
Yeah.
Were you good in school too?
No, I was,
Just sports you loved?
Yeah. Because my dad was like a coach, so he was like, that was his thing. And then I kind of got into music, and then I was like, and then I didn't really get any taller, so I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna play in the NFL. So let's be honest about this. But I got obsessed with music. Yeah. And then I didn't try to go play college ball or anything like that.
Yeah. What did you want to do when you graduated?
So the idea was to go return kickoffs at University of Washington and study classical guitar, but
wow.
So I just stayed in town and kind of went to a community college and like studied music there, and then I ended up going to Cal State Northridge and did this like business music program. It was like half business and then half like music, and then studied classical guitar there. And then it was just funny. It was like 2004 era. Yeah. So like the whole music industry was changing. So everything we were learning was like becoming obsolete like at that time. Like so I played back to your original questions. I played in like that band, and then like kind of started another band called Shrike that I was like singing for and playing guitar, and it was kind of, I don't know, like Fear Factory type stuff.
So you're more like a metal kid.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, I was always trying to bring like the energy of hardcore into it. Like, and then later when I joined Holy Grail, it was something that I'd always tried to bring that element of hardcore into it. Like, like even like our second record, like I wrote a lot of the lyrics. Like I wanted it to read like a hardcore record. Yeah. Lyrically and stuff like that. And so it was just like always kind of pushing me in that direction. Actually, I think the first hardcore show I ever saw was Ignite and Death by Stereo.
Oh wow!
Like that's awesome. At the Showcase Theater in Corona.
It was a sick spot, man.
Fun shows there.
It was packed. I'd never seen anything like that. Just like the energy, just the way I remember it. It just seemed like kids were just falling off the walls the entire like show, and it was just everybody singing along, and I was like, dude, I want in. Yeah.
Totally.
That was a sick spot too, man.
It was.
Incredible shows.
Kids would be climbing through like that duct on the ceiling, sneaking in like this little like 18-inch by 18-inch hole in the roof on the packed shows. It was just like 1,000,000 degrees in there. Yeah. No waters for sale. 200 or waters for like $8.
What was your first exposure to music, Brett? Like punk rock and stuff like that?
Pre-punk rock was, I grew up like listening to my parents' vinyl collection. Nice. That got me into listening to music, like Beatles, Stones, like the classics. My dad had a rad vinyl collection. Band on the Run, Eagles, Steely Dan, like cool stuff. So I mean, when you're listening to that, you're listening to the best songs ever written, right?
Of course.
And like you're listening to the Beatles and like all this stuff. So, and my dad really connected to music as far as being a listener and being a fan. Even to this day, he'll call me up. He's like, "Have you heard of that band 9 Inch Nails?" I just saw this thing on YouTube. This live show. He loves watching live shows on YouTube. He's like, it sounds so good. He's like, it's crazy with all these lights and stuff. So my dad loves like rock. Cool. So that's kind of what connected me to rock, because we would listen to, like I said, Steely Dan and like really fun stuff.
It's awesome.
But then like in high school, I got way more into, I wasn't into like the punk or hardcore scene in high school. I got really heavy into the UK stuff. Joy Division, Cure,
nice,
like all that stuff is where I kind of cut my teeth, like listening and learning how to play bass to like Peter Hook's like bass lines in Joy Division.
Awesome.
And that was kind of the stuff I was into. And you know, when you're in high school, you're kind of you kind of really limit what you listen to. Kind of like, I got like 4 bands I listen to. It's like Cure, Joy Division, Echo and the Bunnymen, and the Chameleons, and that's it. Everything else is terrible. You know what I mean? And then like the first exposure I had to hardcore was a punk rock kid. There was a small group of punkers at the school. Gave our guitar player from my high school band a tape with Minor Threat on it and Discharge.
Sick.
And we would listen to it in his convertible Bug driving around. And I was like, this band's amazing. Minor Threat. And it was like, you could tell these guys could play. Yeah. And it was really good. Now, Discharge was then kind of the like flip side of that coin, where it was just like, oh, no, that's what they were. And I was, you know, but the Minor Threat stuff like had a lot of appeal to me. But it wasn't really what I was into, but I totally could appreciate it and like fell in love with like those songs.
Yeah.
And that was probably my first taste of hardcore, but I didn't really go to shows. I didn't understand there was a big underground movement with small labels, small booking agents, venues you could play, you could get in a van and tour. I thought, I mean, you had to be playing at the Forum with Duran Duran signed to Sony Records. Yeah. I didn't understand there was a whole underground. Yeah. You know, even going to like record stores and stuff, you could see smaller labels, but I just didn't understand how that worked. That like I could start a band, get signed, they could give me a few $1,000 to go record some songs and be stoked if you sold 5,000 copies and made their money back. I didn't know that existed like in my teenage years. Yeah. So yeah, and then
what was your first show? Do you remember?
The first concert I ever went to was Genesis at Dodger Stadium.
Wow, dude! Wow.
Yeah,
and that's incredible.
And then like Duran Duran at the Forum, like just big stuff.
Big shit.
I didn't know that you could go. And then I'd start going to record stores and seeing flyers about smaller venues, and like, oh, Dramarama's playing like the Country Club. Oh, that's cool. Like, you know, I went and saw PIL and Sugar Cubes, and I started getting into like stuff like that. You know, but then. Yeah, I really, the hardcore punk rock thing wasn't really on my radar outside of the Ramones and the Pistols. Yeah. You know, because I had access to them. You know, they were on major labels and like it was in your face. You could see that stuff anywhere. But I remember seeing like a Youth of Today cover, but never having the wherewithal to pay $10 to like find out what it is, because there was no way. There's no way to listen to stuff. You know, back then you couldn't stream stuff, so you kind of had to take risks at the record store if you were going to buy something new. So
just by the cover, probably the art. The
really,
artwork was
yeah,
cool.
yeah, exactly. Like, so or if it's in a bin with a genre, like, you know, like whatever, punk or thrash or whatever. Yeah. But that wasn't really my bag back then, and it wasn't until really I met Joe Foster that I really started getting like aware of like the hardcore scene, and that was like early 20s. That was like 21. Okay. Like in like 91, 92 for me.
Taking you to shows and stuff. And
yeah, we started going to see like and more punk stuff, because we saw like one of the first shows that me and him went to before we started Ignite was Offspring and Voodoo and Guttermouth at the small club in Fullerton, and I was like 21, then 20, and I was like, wow. And just like Eli, you know, when he saw the Showcase Theater show, I couldn't believe how crazy the kids were going to like Guttermouth and Offspring and Voodoo and stuff. And it was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. And also you could see yourself at that point, dude, I'm no longer now competing with Duran Duran and Genesis. Yeah. This is more attainable. You know, watching the Offspring or watching Guttermouth play, I was like, oh, I think we could do that. Like, it wasn't like some crazy like 10-piece backup band with singers and I got to be the best songwriter in the world. Yeah. It was like, get up there and have fun and energy, you know? So that was kind of my like segue from my like Cure, Joy Division-y kind of the, you know, experience into like the more punk rock stuff was through Joe Foster. Yeah, and it's so cool. I get to see the bands walking around after they play by the merch and stuff like that. It's so different, man. It was wild. Man. That was the first band I ever saw. That was the Dead Milkmen. Ooh. And the guitar player was sitting on the front of the stage after the show. It was at Club Post Nuclear in Laguna Beach, venue that's long gone. And I was sitting around the club after, and the guitar player was sitting on the front of the stage. And I was like, well, I wonder what he's doing up there. He must know somebody that he's talking to. So me and my buddy kind of like meandered up there, and he was just talking to people. And I thought it was wild. I didn't get it. I didn't get that you could just connect with people. It just seemed like they went and got in their limo and left after the show. But
such a different world, man.
It was such an appeal to have that kind of connection with the fans.
Yeah.
Which I, to this day, love.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Descendants when I was a kid, and then Milo coming out to the merch booth after, and it was like one of my favorite bands. Just going to say, hey, great show, and shake his hand. Just that moment like that is just, it's amazing. But you feel like you're just equal. You just, you know?
And sometimes I forget that the kid on the other side of that was me, and how important that is to these people. So it's, you know, I always try and like spend that time with those people if you can, because you know how important it is. And if they come up to you after a show, it's because they want to.
100%.
You know what I mean? It's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily, my experiences meeting people after shows have always been good. Nobody was a jerk. Nobody was like too cool. Or
totally.
That's the thing. That's the special thing about the scene we come from. You know, it's such a community, you know?
It's amazing, dude, what we get to do. We're so lucky.
I know, man.
I mean, there's such a small amount of people that get to tour around the world and write songs and connect with people.
And, like, none of us have, like, millions of records sold or hits on the radio or empty. Like, we had none of us had really any of that. And we can still do it, and people care and have, like, a career still. Like,
and change
20 years in.
Yeah, and people come up and say, you changed my life. It's like,
insane,
it's heavy. It
is.
When people drop that on you, because you forget we're at home. I got to go to the store. I got to feed the dog. I got to pay bills. And I'm just like a normal dude.
A normal dude in society, but then you go on tour and it's like...
And then, at these festivals we're lucky enough to play, there's a big line of people like waiting for signatures, which still blows me away.
It's crazy.
And then they tell you, when somebody tells you you're their favorite band, I know what my favorite bands were growing up, and they were Untouchables. And when somebody says that to you, it's like, it's heavy.
I know,
It's cool.
man.
It's cool.
It's crazy how far like hardcore and punk has come.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like in generations and generations, people still finding out about your band now. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's beautiful, man.
It is. And dude, we're just lucky.
We played the show Pennywise 2 weeks ago, and there was hardcore kids there, but there was a barricade. It was a different vibe at that venue, Garden Grove.
Yep.
And I said, how many people have never seen this for the first time? And like almost the whole crowd raised their hand. I'm like, we've been in a band 26 years, and almost all these people never even heard of us before.
Right.
And I think that's amazing, man.
And it's cool because you don't feel like an old band. You feel like
a new band.
They think you're a new band.
All these songs are brand new to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys 26-year-old songs.
Yeah. You see somebody after, and they go, do you guys have any albums out?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, a couple.
Like maybe like 5 or 10 years ago, my wife was selling a 7-inch, and some kid came up and asked my wife if it was a mouse pad. It's the generations that don't really know the vinyl and stuff like that.
They got the vinyls coming back.
Yeah.
Now it's coming back.
Thank God it's come back.
Yeah. What about you, Eli? What was your first exposure to like punk? Did you guys both skateboard growing up too? That's another question.
I didn't know. Okay. I played basketball and golf.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up like skateboarding here and there.
Surfing too, or no?
Here and there. I was like bodyboarding and more bodyboarding. But I was skating until like, I don't know, 8th or 9th grade, and I fell off, and I hurt my elbow. Okay. And I was playing football, and I couldn't throw the football, and I tried to blame it on something else, and my dad figured it out, and he was just like, "You can't skateboard anymore because you know." Yeah.
So sports was really, your dad was really about the sports.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he grew up on like classic rock, so he got me into like, you know, Grand Funk Railroad and like War, and you know, I grew up on like that stuff. But like, it's funny. I didn't really get into punk rock like I know a lot of people like kind of start there, but for me, I got into punk through hardcore.
Nice.
Like it was through metal, and then I was just like really into hardcore, and I didn't even realize that hardcore kind of came from punk. So I did this totally like just ass backwards, you know.
Cool,
and then I was just like, as you went along, like you started picking up bands, you're like, oh, it's fucking really cool, and it's like, you know, through kind of being a Danzig fan, I got into the Misfits, and then
that's crazy, man.
And yeah, it was just totally like, and it's cool because it's like even now, I'm discovering like, you know, a bunch of bands that people like, you know, are in love with for years. They're like new to me, and so I get to like to experience that. It's just awesome, and just like, you know, even in just like how like rough some of the stuff is, just like, God, they're really good fucking songwriters.
Yeah.
You know, whether they knew it or not. You know.
Yeah. And a lot of those records are so timeless. They sound like so good still. Like the recordings, they weren't overproduced. They were just like 3 or 4 days in the studio, just smash it out.
Yeah.
Like all the Minor Threat stuff just sounds still so perfect, man.
Fresh. It doesn't sound old.
It doesn't.
No, that's
And you have bands trying to like recreate that, you know, and they were just doing their best, but now they're like, oh, we're doing
with
this
what
vintage.
they had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not even a distortion amp, just an amp turned up loud that sounded distorted.
They didn't even have like the time or the money to make it sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you get out of high school, Brett, what are you doing? Are you working?
Yeah, doing construction on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and going to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then having the weekends, and doing band practice at night with my first band out of high school.
Yeah,
which was fun. And we were just trying to play like college campuses, high school lunches. It was cool. We would play like Villa Park High School, Orange High School at lunches, and kids. It was a cool way to get kids to come and buy your demo and turned on to the band.
While they're eating lunch at a school you're playing.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah, the weird little amphitheaters they have like near the lunch, like because we always ate outside.
Yeah,
like East Coast guys, you guys probably all ate inside.
Totally.
And there'd be
the winter. It's
in
true.
the cold.
Yeah.
And so we would try and play colleges and high schools with this band. And again, I didn't have any concept of how to do it, so we just kind of made it up as we went. We recorded. The only way we recorded a demo was I had a engineer or a recording class in college.
Yeah.
That we went and did our demos at. In this, big soundboard and everything. It was cool. And so we had decent demos, and then we just would sell those tapes at these shows. And we would get on a couple shows here and there. We played like before the Viper Room was the Viper Room. It was called the Central. We used to play. Okay. We used to play there on. There would be a jam night on Wednesdays, so you could get your band on, and it would be packed. Those kind of like nights at the Viper Room where it's just the built-in crowd before it was the Viper Room.
Yeah.
And we would just try and get on. A lot of the venues we play are closed, like Coconut Teas or Bogart's in Long Beach.
Coconut Teas was classic.
Yeah. And we just try. But how do you really become like popular when you don't know really how to connect to a scene? Or
and it's pre-internet too. All that stuff. Right?
Yeah. So it was really no way to push your band other than like make demos, sell them at Rhino Records and
Rhino,
and Bionic Records. You just try and sell your demos in there. But that band we never really could get going like. Really how we kind of envisioned it, and it kind of just fizzled out.
Yeah. What about you, Eli? What did you do when you graduated? What were you doing?
I was trying to get like I was all in with music.
That's all you wanted to do.
Yeah, and so I was like kind of going to college just so my mom wouldn't feel like a failure with me.
Were your parents bummed you weren't going to go the football route?
My dad was
because he strict about it, like pressure, and
he was, and then he kind of like realizes like, oh, okay, he's kind of good at guitar, like maybe there's a thing with this, and
nice.
So he kind of came around. Yeah, I tried to quit my senior year, and he
wasn't having it.
Yeah, it was like, it was like, how's your son? He's like, I have no son.
Oh.
Ouch. Yeah.
Shit.
But
because most parents like, yeah, good luck with the music stuff. It's never gonna pan out.
No, totally. And so like, yeah, they were kind of like, oh, he mainly just because I wasn't gonna give up, and so they're like, you might as well like kind of have his back on it. So I went up moved up to LA for school, and then that band fell apart. Tried to start another band that was like we called it, we were like, we'll make up our own genre, we'll be spacecore, so it was like hardcore with a bunch of weird effects.
Innovators.
Well, it was funny. You tell people that they'd be like, what kind of music is it? And I'm like, it's spacecore. And they'd be like, I love spacecore. I'm like, no, you fucking don't. I just made it.
Right.
Spacecore, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you were determined to do something in music. You were like, you weren't giving up.
Right. And it's funny, like, kind of what Brett was saying. I ended up working at Capitol Records in tour marketing.
Wow.
And I'd see these bands that get signed and just get shelved.
Totally.
Like, and it was just like, basically like, here's your debt. We're not going to put your record out.
Yeah.
But you can't put it out either.
That's the worst, man. You're like trapped.
Yeah.
It happens to so many bands, man.
Yeah.
Dude, and so from there, I was just like, okay, fuck going on a major label. Like, it was really like shooting for like basically the indie route. And that was like my first time wanting to, or even knowing it was possible, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Where it was like all the bands I listen to are like on indie labels anyway. So, I kind of went that route, and then I kind of tried to start my own band that I've been still trying to get that record out. I'm closer than ever now.
Still right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just like, it's one of those things, like, it's almost like it attracts good things to me because I'm like, I'm almost done with this record, and then something would fall into my lap. I ended up joining Holy Grail.
Yep.
And then, doing that for 13 years and touring and putting out records. And then that singer quit, which actually we haven't announced. That we told the dude to announce it.
Now it's announced.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, we were waiting for it. He's like, I'm going to write something up. And I'm like, okay. And then he never did it.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, here's my chance to finish my record. And then, I started singing for Ignite. And so
It's crazy, man.
yeah.
You got your own Chinese democracy.
Yeah, dude.
Eli's Chinese democracy.
Dude, I think I actually have like, you named the albums in your iTunes.
Yeah.
I think I had like some of it was North Korean democracy.
Yeah.
For that reason, because it was taking me forever.
Clever.
Yeah.
And what about
No,
the
I
acting?
know.
What about acting stuff?
Dude, that was a thing. Like I had a couple bands hiatus. I'm gonna make a couple like extra money,
Dude.
and so I was like, I'm gonna go do background. And
I
then
have a list of some of your things, and some of the things I love, and I was like, holy First of all, the new Pam and Tommy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That I love that show.
Did you see him on it?
No, but now that I found that it's him, now I remember because I'm gonna go back and watch it. But like,
Yeah.
dude, Westworld, Studio 66, that new Foo Fighters movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ulysses, what's it called? Ulysses Coyote.
Yeah.
Shameless, one of my favorite shows. You the construction worker.
Yeah.
Grace and Frankie, my wife's favorite show.
Yeah, dude.
Tropic
yeah.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Bro, it's fucking crazy, man. Like I didn't even know that. It's so nuts.
Yeah.
Are
Like
people talking about that he's an actor too?
A little bit. Yeah, we've been getting hit up a little bit.
Those are series like those are great.
Yeah.
I was background work, but I get excited because I like those shows.
No, it's actually been like, well, because it was a thing where like I was up here and I did a couple of background things and I ended up being like in Tropic Thunder and fucking Don't Mess with the Zohan. And
You're not credited in Tropic Thunder, correct? Uncredited.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? You're still in there? I said it. It's on the air. You're on there.
No. Okay. Now it's official. It's like it's like the Holy Grail singer quitting. Now it's official. Yeah. And then so I ended up. It wasn't until I did Westworld and I got a recurring.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's sick.
Yeah, and I met Anthony Hopkins. Like I worked with him, and like we were saying about like bands you like, and they come and hang out with you, and they're cool. He came up to me like in between shots and was like joking with me, like because I had to be like weird industry. I was frozen. So I couldn't move.
Okay.
And there was something crawling on my hand that I wasn't looking. And then they yelled cut. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? And I'm like, and now I can't find it. I'm like, was it a, Black Widow? Was it a scorpion?
Wow.
And then, so Anthony Hopkins, he's like, oh, I saw it. And I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, it's this big tarantula. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, I'm messing with you. And then he's like, sits down next to me and starts telling me like he had arachnophobia. And then on Zorro, there was a spider wrangler who got him over the fear. And then it was just like, dude, you're so cool.
Yeah. It's amazing we meet people, right? And then it's like,
yeah. And that dude,
wow.
like, I think hadn't read the script, showed up, looked at it, and through that shot was like completely off book and then doing his genius shit that he does. And I was like, dude, this seems like a fun craft to like get into. And so I started messing with that and then doing like auditions and, stuff like that. And then now I'm like, gonna be like,
are you done doing that or no?
Yeah, no, I'm still like messing with, just because it's like one of those things like I can do until I die.
Yeah, man.
And so I'm actually doing a play where I'm like the lead. Well, the girl's the lead, but I'm the male lead.
Okay.
It's this play called Ramona out in Hemet, and it's like the longest running outdoor play in America.
Oh, awesome.
It's like next year will be the 100th year.
Wow.
And it's California's official outdoor play.
Okay.
Because we all knew that was a thing. But nah, it's a trip, dude. It's like on the side of a mountain since like the same mountain since like 1923.
Oh, wow.
Like there's horses and like just all this shit. And so like that's like just a whole like weird part of like, because to me, like it's with music, it's all kind of connected, creative.
Totally.
Type of shit. So it's like it's just this other cool thing that that pays.
My friend Jim Rhoda worked on that 666 movie. Friend of mine.
That's my buddy. He produced the last Huntress record that I was on.
Jim Rhoda?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Fireball Ministry?
Yeah, man.
Holy shit! Shout out to you, Rhoda. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh no,
good
he's
friend of
the
my family,
sweetest
man.
dude. Yeah. He actually pulled me into Studio 666.
Gotcha.
And then it was like a thing where like that casting director knew me. I think I had auditioned for like Mayans or something. She's like,
Mayans. Shit, nice.
I know that dude. He's cool. And then it like, that was like the raddest shoot to be on. Because I
heard that movie's great. I want to see it.
Dude, it's fun. Okay. You'll like it. Yeah.
So Jim Rota, that's crazy, man. That's a small world, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But Shameless was a great show. I love that show, man.
Oh, yeah. No, that's one of my favorite shows. Yeah, it was one day at work.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And then have you seen Pam and Tommy?
I've just seen some of the parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing. So good,
man.
Is it really?
It's really fun. It's just super fun, man.
Yeah.
The actors are incredible.
Yeah.
They're killing those roles, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Once I heard he was in it, I was like, I peeped it, and yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. I got that part right as we were leaving like one of the last mixing sessions on this record.
Okay.
Wow. So yeah, it was
awesome, man.
Yeah, it was a trip, man.
And you play piano, bass, drums, steel drums, everything?
Yeah, I started.
You play all instruments?
I guess. I'm playing.
That's what it says on the internet.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's because I put it there. No.
Well, you play piano too and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, it's like enough to like record stuff and then go fix it and
enough to compose and record and like write a thing. That's it. That's all I do.
Yeah, right.
That's amazing. So all self-taught or no?
Yeah. I mean, it's like taking piano in school.
Okay.
It's kind of like when you learn Spanish in school. You're like, I mean, I get it, but
Yeah.
So a lot of it was just messing around. But I am playing Native American flute in this play, so I gotta add that to the thing.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
It's not on the list right now.
You have to add that to your resume.
Yeah.
So Brett, let's get to Ignite.
Yep.
So 1993, right? You're saying?
Yep.
And how'd you guys all know each other? How'd you guys come together?
Just met Joe through my old singer from my other band. Yeah.
Shout out to Joe Nelson, by the way, man.
Yep.
Trust Records.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so me and Foster, we were just writing songs with a drum machine. Me, him, and a drum machine working on. I had a little like Boss Dr. Rhythm drum machine. We could write. I had a little 4-track recorder, and we would record these songs, and then we'd get Joe Nelson to sing on them.
It's crazy.
And we didn't have a drummer for a little bit, and then we were working with also Gavin Oglesby from No for an Answer. He started playing guitar with us, so we were
Gavin. Okay.
Yeah, kind of a great artist, fantastic artist. Yeah. And we were just kind of having fun, and that was the thing. It wasn't, again, in no expectations, and it was kind of funny because we would go out after we would work on music. Was almost part of the reason why the band kept going. So I don't know. Do you know Brad X from Cottonmouth Kings? He used to be in Doggy Style.
I know the name came up in the podcast several times.
So he was from this old punk band Doggy Style.
I love Doggy Style.
And he, in the early 90s, he had this promotion company called Artist Groove Network, and they did all the biggest nightclubs in LA, from the Roxbury to Society Club, Trips, Variety Arts Center, Roxbury, South Orange County. So we would go out to his clubs after these like writing jam sessions, and it was almost as much fun knowing that we're going to get together, jam for a little while, and then we're going to go out to one of Brad X's clubs. So it ended up being kind of funny because we were just like, that was kind of, okay, we're going to write for a while, and then we're going to go out. And that kind of turned into like this repetitious thing where we were getting together like 3-4 nights a week working on music and then going out to one of Brad X's clubs.
Awesome.
And it just turned into fun. And then when Casey joined the band on drums, he was in No for an Answer too and Justice League.
Justice League, wow.
Yeah, and then we just had this cool group of guys. It was really fun that we would go out and hang out as much after as we would together working on music.
Super important, though.
Yeah, and you just had this camaraderie. You just had this like team of guys that would like just go have fun together. And we didn't really have any aspirations or expectations that we were going to do anything. And,
crazy.
And then we just got really lucky. Gavin went to Europe in 93 with No for an Answer.
Yep.
And he ran into the Lost and Found Records guy.
I can't believe it, that Scarred for Life was on Lost and Found.
Yeah.
I had no idea until I looked at this. Crazy.
Our first 3 releases were on, European releases were on Lost and Found.
Oh, wow.
And when Gavin went to Europe in 93 with No for an Answer, he ran into the Lost and Found guy, and he said, any new bands in Orange County? And he goes, well, I'm playing with these guys, the guy from Unity and Casey from No for an Answer. He goes, send me a demo. And that's really how the band started. Because we were playing in front of like 20 people on weeknights in crappy clubs and not really getting on any like good shows or anything.
Yeah.
Even with like it's the dudes from these bands, it didn't really carry a ton of weight at the time until like Lost and Found wanted. And then they basically said, oh, we love this demo tape, which was actually our 7-inch that we were just putting out. And they said, we'll bring you on tour in '94 with Slapshot, and we'll put a CD out.
What?
And we're going from playing zero like on Tuesday nights at a crappy bar to getting a tour offer to go to Europe 2 months with Slapshot, and we'll put your record out.
2-month tour? Wow.
Yeah. Like the first tour we went on was like August and September of '94. Like 56 shows in 58 days.
We used to do that, man, like 6 or 8 week tours.
Dude, and you just play every day, and you'd be on some crappy Beat the Street bus
which are now amazing buses.
Which are now the top of the line.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that whole thing evolved. And
squats and
the worst. But I was telling Hoya the other day that the first show I ever played in Europe was the Holtzfred Festival with Oasis, Blur, Motorhead, Pennywise, Refused, No Fun at All. And back then, that was our first show.
That's real?
That was our first show.
Oasis and Blur together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're at the show, and Midnight Oil's playing at the
Midnight Oil?
at the main stage, like across the way. And I'm like, how did I get here?
So surreal, man.
Because it was like in December of '93, we played our first kind of real show with like Chorus of Disapproval and Far Side, and it was fun. It was packed, and I was like, oh, this could be cool. But dude, 8 months later, I'm on a tour bus with Slapshot. They were huge at the time, and we're playing this festival.
You guys got along, it was good vibes.
Yeah, it was funny.
Cool.
It was a little like butting heads, but it was like all in like good sport.
Totally.
Yeah, but those guys were cool, and so just that transition from playing to nobody to literally playing a festival on the side stage. Of course, we're on the side stage.
It's still amazing.
Yeah,
man.
of course. And then when we went to play, people just migrate around. Every stage is packed, and our first show packed, like probably 4,000 people in a tent stage.
Jesus.
And I was just like, I could do this.
Yeah.
That was like the first time where I was like, it was like maybe there was the chance of doing it for like kind of for real.
Yeah.
Or not for real. I never really thought about that time like, oh, I'm going to make a living or anything off it. It was just like, oh, this could be maybe more than one European tour.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of ran with all those opportunities.
And so the second one was Family. That was 1985.
Yeah. Well, In My Time actually was an EP.
Oh, the EP, that's right.
That we recorded. Dude, and that's funny. So we do that tour in '94. We end the tour in like near Hanover, and the guy from Lost and Found goes, hey, do you guys have any songs? And we got like 4 new songs. He's like, why don't we get you in the studio the next day after tour in Germany.
After 2-month tour?
Yeah. Because we stayed 3 months total because I thought this was going to be my one time to go to Europe.
Yeah, you want to check it out.
Yeah. So we were going to stay a month after and go vacation.
A whole month after?
A full month after.
Oh, my God.
So 2 months of touring. We got 90-day tickets.
That's insane.
And so then the day after tour, we went into the studio in Bremen, I think it was. And
Bremen.
We recorded the whole In My Time EP in 23 hours. One session.
That is fucking amazing, man. You guys must have been so tight, too, from touring?
Yeah. 2 months of touring. And so it was fun, and then we like left, and they mixed it and put it out. And that was like,
damn, Lost and Found was on point back then.
Dude, Lost and Found was like,
holy shit, a big label.
I think the biggest reason why we got exposure and grew because they didn't really pay their bands anything. They're known for not ripping bands off and stuff. But dude, every magazine, everything was like Lost and Found ads everywhere. We like at the airport, you'd open up a magazine. Again, first time in Europe and see a big spread of us in like Rock Hard magazine. Sick. And I was just like, what? Like we couldn't do anything in America at that time. And we go to Europe and it's just, well, you know what Europe's like.
It's insane. It's a different world,
it's
man.
It's a different world for bands like us. Us, Madball, you guys like, it's just.
I want to thank all you guys too, because you guys went so much way before H2O started going. We really focused on America.
Yep.
And then we started going later on. You guys had already did the real hard work there and paved the way. So
yeah,
bands like you guys, Madball, Sick of It All.
Dude, GB was going there in like 91.
Yeah, I went there as a roadie with Sick of It All, but not as my own band.
Right,
for sure.
right.
Early in the 90s.
So you saw all that.
Yeah, Mark Amity driving our van.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
That's awesome.
So Lost and Found really like put you guys on the.
I think that's one of the biggest reasons why we had that. We got that European following. People complain about them and stuff, and yeah, they were shady, but you're never.
All labels are shady, man.
We weren't going to get like the push, like remember We Bite and Victory Europe, and so we weren't going to get that kind of push that Lost and Found like pushed us. And
so how's it when you get back to America? Is it catching
a little better? A little better. People are knowing the songs. Our stuff's still only an import. We don't have a domestic label at that point, so people are buying the Lost and Found import of In My Time and Scarred for Life.
Wow.
Yeah. So then we were like, we need to get signed. We need to get signed. We need to have a buddy put out our stuff. So that's when we worked with Dennis at Conversion Records, and he put out Calling My Brothers, which was kind of a collaboration of all of our the first 2 European releases.
Yeah.
We re-recorded all that and then put it out, and that was our first domestic release.
One of my top 5 names of H2O, one of the names is going to be Scarred for Life. Though I was going to choose that wasn't one of my names to name my band.
For the band.
Yes.
Ours was, we were going to be Ignite or Fuse, and then we heard like Eli, you hear that like somebody else is using the name, but there's no...
It was Eli's band? I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
It was Space Corps.
Yeah, it was a Space Corps, man.
But so it was going to be Fuse or Ignite, or actually Shade was an option too, but like Ignite.
Just all one words.
Yeah. So
Who came up with Ignite? Was that you?
Joe came up with that.
Great name, man.
It is, and we thought like, hey, it looks good on a shirt.
Yeah.
I thought it was from like the Damned song.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Was
But
it?
no, that wasn't what it was from.
Okay.
It was a lyric in an old Unity song that Joe kind of bit from there.
Unity never gets props.
Yeah,
They were so sick.
They were, but I don't think they ever toured. It was just like
Cali
literally
thing?
like a local band, because like when Joe started touring with us in Ignite, when Foster started touring, like he hadn't really toured before, so touring with Ignite for him was kind of like his first touring along with us. It was all of our first touring. It was Casey, and he never really toured with No for an Answer. Joe never really toured with Unity. I'd never toured with The Jaded.
So then Call My Brothers comes out, and that's a game changer.
For us it was, because we finally had a
Video, everything, right?
no video.
Was there video for that record?
No, but
Okay.
maybe there was a live stuff that kind of used to. But yeah, we didn't really do videos too much with Ignite over the years. But yeah, it finally gave us an album that kids could buy domestically, and we could go tour on, and they wouldn't have to pay a ton of money to import because Lost and Found also didn't do any vinyl. It was only CDs.
Wow. Okay.
So, and kids wanted vinyl. They wanted 12-inch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, back then, So that's 95. That album comes out, and and it's fun. We go out. We do, dude. It's funny. We do these tours. We do like a month with Earth Crisis. We do a month with Integrity, and these are all packages.
Wow.
In 95 in the summer.
Sick time, 295. Yeah.
Yeah, and people talk about how big those shows were back in the day. They weren't. Like New York was big, Chicago was big, Louisville was big. And
Utah probably, no?
No, we didn't do Utah with that package, and then like Corona, LA and Corona were big, but dude, everywhere else, crickets. Like go play Atlanta, like 30 kids with that lineup, you know what I mean?
Sick lineup, man.
Alabama and stuff. So
Alabama.
I let the stories be the legend and not the reality. It's a better story when you say, man, those shows were just all packed. When you're talking about New York and LA.
It was probably so fun, though.
It was a good time. And that was the first time us being on the road in America. And then later that year, we went on tour with you guys and Sick of It All.
Oh, that's right.
We did 10 dates in the East.
What year was that?
95, like in December.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first time I met you.
You guys played Tramps with us, too.
We did that a couple years later.
Yeah,
but so 95, so we get the tour dates, and it's us and you guys and Sick of It All, and it's all East Coast, but there's no New York City show, and there's an off night on a Saturday. And I was like, why wouldn't there be a New York show, and why is there an off night on a Saturday? And that was the night Sick of It All played with the Beastie Boys at Coney
Island High.
Yeah.
And under a different name.
Yeah, Quasar.
That's right, dude.
So we were all there watching Sick of It All play with
right.
the Beastie Boys, and that's why we didn't have a show on a Saturday night, why we didn't have a New York City show. And dude, the Beastie Boy, again, watching these guys on MTV and listening to this stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm in a small club backstage, and Mike D comes up to me and like, do you want to hit on this? And I'm just like crazy, like this reality I'm living in. Like what? It's
Wait,
like,
what year is this?
95.
That's a good day off.
It is a good day off. Yeah.
It's worth a day off in New York City for that.
Walk down to Burritoville, get a burrito.
Burritoville, yes.
Yeah, and then walk over and go in and hang backstage, and like Sergio Vega's working there, and Freddie's working there, and John Joseph is working there, and all these dudes. And I'm just like looking around going, this is crazy.
Yeah, the guys from D-Generation opened up that spot.
Really? Okay. That was a fun venue.
It was so good. Coney Island High.
It was weird. Upstairs, and you go left, and there's a jukebox and a bar, and then it wrapped around in the back. But you could get like 400 kids in there.
Yeah.
It was fun.
They definitely did for that show.
Yeah, well, yeah, there was like probably 6.
So then you guys came back and did Tramps with us on one of our record release parties, maybe. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was fun. That was a little later, but we just flew out for a couple shows for that Tramps show.
Yeah. What was your first show in New York at? Did you guys play CB's before?
We did CB's a little later. I think our first show was a show at Coney Island.
Okay.
We did, because I remember we pulled up in the van and Gitter was standing there.
Gitter.
Then Gavin from Burn.
Yep.
And Porcel rode up on a 10-speed.
Jesus.
And I was like looking around going, is this what normally happens when
pretty
like,
much
it was, and it was just a
pretty much
community.
normal,
It was just
yeah.
like everybody was there hanging out, wanted to say hi to dudes, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I would see Joey Ramone walking around on St. Mark's or Danzig on St. Mark's, just walking down the street. Wouldn't say anything to him. Just seem okay, there they go. It was just
That's
kind of
so
normal,
cool.
just walking around, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's a difference in New York, and I mean LA. As you know, you've lived here for a while. It's so spread out.
I know,
Well,
man.
you see people up here in your neck of the woods, but we're down in Orange County, and dude, it's not like I can just walk down my street and like have that experience like what you guys used to have
Yeah.
in New York. It was just different.
I had a super weird one 3 days ago. I've been going to Runyon Canyon for almost 20 years.
Yep.
I've seen every person in the world up there. But just the other day, me and my son were walking up. This is some LA shit, though. But you're saying you don't see people. It wasn't Danzig, but we were walking up next to Sean Penn at Runyon the other day. It was so random. And he had this beautiful dog. And we were talking to the dog, and then Max was like, yo, it's Jess Piccoli. I said, don't say nothing to him about Fast Times. He hates that shit. It was some LA shit. It was just weird because you never see that dude.
Right.
It's all, it looked like
Yeah.
he came out of the woods. He was all disheveled. His hair was just, it was some weird shit. But yeah, I don't see people really down walking around and shit out here. It's way
Yeah.
different. What was the first time you went to New York, played there?
The first.
Eli.
Yes.
We know your voice.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was with Holy Grail. We played some random place in like Williamsburg.
Oh, wow. Was that later on?
It was later on,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it was one of those things I got out and there's a dude with like a handlebar mustache riding some weird high bike and I was
Oh,
like,
this is a different time.
I was
in New
like,
York.
dude, like Biohazard lied to me, dude.
That's good.
That is so fucking, yeah, it's so different.
yeah. It was years to finally make it to, you know, the East Coast.
The promised land. New
Yeah,
York
Yeah.
City.
It's so different.
Those
though,
are always
right?
the highlights when you look on. I mean, when you look on the European tour, like, hey, what night are we playing Berlin? What night are we playing like Leipzig?
Yeah.
America's like New York. Those are special.
Yeah.
Special nights.
So, A Place Called Home. What was the record? I think it was Darkest Days. What was the record that, like, it wasn't all of a sudden, but Ignite in Europe was just massive, dude. What were those years? It was like insane, man.
It was 2000 when we put out
Place Called Home,
A Place
yeah.
Called Home. So
was
it was
insane.
weird. So like the earlier part of Ignite was with like Joe and Casey, and it was a hardcore band. We were
Yeah.
on Revelation. Then like Joe and Casey leave the band like 97, 98, and we start getting bigger tours at that point. Before we get signed to TVT Records, we go
remember
out.
TVT, yeah.
We go out with Pennywise on Snow Jam. You guys were on that too.
Snow Jam.
Yeah, Snow Jam in Canada. We go to Europe with Suicidal on Flying High Across the Sky. We're playing with Bad Religion, Social Distortion. We never played with these bands.
Damn.
I thought Ignite was like, I was pretty proud that I thought we were like, man, we're a good band. And then
You are.
But then you get on the side of the stage with Suicidal, and you get on the side of the stage watching Pennywise, and you're like, man, like we can play a sold out show at Handy Street and have 90 kids singing these
Handy
songs.
Street in Jersey?
Yeah. And have, you know what I mean? And have like 90 kids singing all the lyrics to our songs, and you think all your songs are like smash hits, and then you watch how,
Smash hits.
right? Because everybody's singing, you're like, our songs are great. And then you get on stage and watch these bands that are like amazing, and like at that point we were like, all right, we need to step up our writing a little bit. If we're going to compete with these bands or try to compete with these bands, because this is what we want to do, we want to become a Pennywise, we want to become
Yeah.
a Suicidal. Like these guys have songs, you know, War Inside My Head, Bro Him, like just these magical things that like we didn't think we had achieved yet. So we really buckled down on the songwriting for That Place Called Home, and we wanted big choruses, because you remember like writing songs at the beginning, you didn't think about chorus verse. You just wrote parts.
That's it, dude.
It was like part A, part B, maybe part C. Let's go back to part B and then end on part D.
There really no structure. It's
No,
just
no
whatever.
structure.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't like in which you want to say called like a kind of a pop sensibility to our writing.
Yeah.
It was just which there's magic in that, right?
Totally.
Because you can capture that weird thing, and but at that point we saw these bands like connecting with 2,000 people, 3,000 people on a show. We're playing like 300, 400 cap rooms, and we're like, how do we get there? And like, we need to kick up our songwriting. And so that's what we really focused on. A Place Called Home was writing hooks, not changing who we were, like still writing those aggressive, energetic, melodic hardcore songs, but like, let's write some big choruses. Let's try and connect. And we did on that one. Like people really connected with that record. And that's when we started seeing, I remember my buddy Johnny from the band Straight Faced.
Shout out to Straight Face.
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
they're awesome guys. He called me from Europe. He goes, dude, we're about to go on stage at the Melkweg in Amsterdam. He's
venue.
like, your album just came out and the crowd is singing along. They're playing it in between. The crowd is singing along to your album, waiting for the next band to go on. He's like, and we hadn't been to Europe yet on that album. He's like, you guys are going to kill it out here. And I got so excited when he said that. And I was like, that's, it was what we were hoping for. It's like these big songs to resonate with people.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much melody in Ignite with Zoli's voice and just the songs. What were some of the inspirations for the Ignite sound? Because it's so different.
I mean, originally, like Joe Foster, his whole idea when we started, he wanted to like bring back that West Coast Uniform Choice kind of sound.
Screaming for a change.
Yeah, that he was he's like, it's missing. There's nobody doing this right now.
That's thought about that. It's very Uniform Choice. Shit.
Totally.
I never thought about that my whole life.
Yeah.
Him and Zoli.
So Joe does Unity with Pat Dubar, and Pat's also singing, obviously, Uniform Choice and all that stuff. But that was the connection. Joe was like, and all the dudes in the Orange County scene, so respectful and such big fans of Uniform Choice. Amazing, it was like a sacred band to all those guys. It was Casey Jones always said it was the West Coast Minor Threat for everybody.
I agree.
And
that record's perfect, dude.
Yeah. So that was like the idea, is like bring back this aggressive melodic music with that kind of clean vocal that can be scream. You can also cross over to screaming, and then load it with gang backups and have that feeling. So that was like the goal. When me and Joe started the band, me and Joe Foster, and
but it's got pop sensibility too. It's got all that.
It does,
what I mean?
and we
even the U2 cover song, all that was awesome.
Yeah, I think that was always our thing, is we wanted to mix in between all the hardcore songs, kind of rock songs.
Yeah,
that was always, because peaks, you want your
there's a rock vibe for sure, man.
Peaks and valleys. If it's all just the same fast beat and everything, it's going to get boring. So
100%.
we always wanted to do like slow songs, halftime songs, heavier songs,
almost ballads, to
make it interesting. So then when that next fast one comes in, it's like, oh, cool.
I love that, dude.
Yeah, that was always kind of the goal, is to make it as interesting as we could for us,
and not make the same record over and over again. A lot of bands just do that. Like, we have to do our tour next year. Let's do a new album, go on tour, new merch, new cycle. Yeah. It just becomes like a job or like a machine. I never liked that, man.
I know.
We never really did that. And I think about it. We haven't put a record out in 7 years. The last 3 records we've done have been 7 years in between. And we've been together 26 years. We only have like 7 albums out. That's so bad.
We have less.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're like one behind you guys, I think.
That's so cool. You're the first band I met that has less than 10 albums out.
You're the first
I
band
feel like a loser all the time.
It's been around longer than us that has less music out.
So how many records? So there's only, there's 6?
Basically.
About to be 7.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's fucking amazing.
Right?
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But dude, you know what?
It's the same shit.
I know. So, I mean, we have big gaps in between, just like you guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, one thing that I
think the gaps work, man.
They can. And one thing that I was stoked on you guys with, a lot of bands, people only want to hear like the first record. And you guys, and I feel we've been lucky too, and Madball and a couple other bands, where, dude, people want to hear our later stuff more than the earlier stuff.
It's crazy, dude.
And when you guys put out the record in 2006...
Nothing to prove in 2008. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like, to me, that's your crowning jewel, I think, record. And
my favorite record ever
And
done.
I think that lucky for us and lucky for you guys that it's like, it opened up. We got a bunch of young kids, because it was like they thought it was a new band. Like, and they don't even know our older stuff. We play stuff on Call of My Brothers, and where people are like, "Oh, that's a cool new song." It's like, no, dude, that's 15 years before this, So I think it's a blessing that we've been lucky enough, and you guys to have people like our later stuff.
Because people almost wrote us off on the major label record. We were sellouts, all that shit. So then we got kind of burnt and like took time off, and then took 7 years, and we were on Bridge 9, which is a great label. Yep. And they have a different audience. The timing, Chad producing, or Paul Minor, all that.
I came and watched you guys play at the Palace. That's now the Avalon or whatever, and on your guys' MCA record.
Oh, wow.
And it was, and I remember it was packed. It wasn't sold out. It was packed. And I was like, this would be incredible. And it was like, it was probably a weird time for you guys with the major thing and people dissing and whatnot, because I remember seeing you guys and you guys weren't like super happy. And I was just like, and I was like, oh man, they should be enjoying this moment, but you get wrapped up in that whole major label game, I'm sure. We kind of did with TVT, where it's like they gave us like 3 months of promotion, then bailed on us, and they didn't. I mean, you guys probably have a worse story, but it's weird to go through that thing and go like, there's 1,100 people in here, sold out's like 13. Let's celebrate that. You know what I mean? But but that was I thought that was a cool time for you guys, man.
No, I definitely. It's so funny. I always talk about this freaking record, man. I didn't write one lyric on the Go record. My head was in a totally different place. I didn't want to leave Epitaph, but we're a band, we're a family, we're a unit. People wanted to make that jump. Newfoundland Glory said, come over here, and Blink was on, our Friends was on MCA. And it's just a time in my life where I was moving from New York to Cali, And I didn't write one. We were recording next to Guns N' Roses. They were doing Chinese Democracy. So we'd see Axl there every. It was a weird, surreal month. We were staying at the Oakwoods, doing this expensive album,
spending
being produced
ton of money.
by Matt Wallace, who produced Faith No More and R.E.M. My drummer picked him.
Holy shit.
So it was a surreal moment, and like my head was not in it. And I love the songs. We play them live to this day, and to this now, people love that record. Back then, that was a message boards that started. You're a sellout. They judged you before you even heard the album because of what label you on.
Yep.
All that shit. And I just have this, it's such a weird feeling when I think about that record because now people love it. But it's just, if Chad Gilbert reproduced that record now, I probably love it. It was just overproduced, and the word slick, that was like a diss word back then. It's too slick. We were too slick and poppy.
It sounded good.
Yeah, and it's but I didn't write, this is the only record I didn't write one word on.
Interesting.
It's fucking crazy, bro. And I've been talking about it so much on the podcast, people can't believe that I didn't write anything on it. I didn't. I let my brother take the reins.
Yep.
I don't regret it. I just wish that, I don't know. I wish it was wasn't so slick. And I love Matt Wallace. That's my brother. He did a great job.
Yep.
The label was involved. But yeah, I just wasn't there. I was just showing up and singing my parts. It was so weird, dude.
I was so stoked for you guys.
Thank you.
You guys, no, you guys were getting so big at that point, and there were so many bands that were getting that started either at the same time or after us that were passing us by. And I never was jealous of that. I was like, no, this is cool because these guys are going to take us, we're going to go on tour with them, maybe we'll climb above the ladder at some point, and I don't know, and helping each other out. And I think bands in the hardcore scene, from Hatebreed to AFI and all these bands, even Sick of It All, dude, signed to East West, and
I know
they took us all out, and they were on a major label and all over MTV, and it was just cool. I like it when,
I did it because of them. I did it because I think 7 Seconds went to Restless. I don't think that was a major. There was something they did, and that was my favorite band. It wasn't.
Yep.
I want to say it wasn't independent. Maybe it was, but Civ was on a major. Orange 9mm, Quicksand. We were all managed by the same manager, Scott McGee.
Yep.
So we were all part of this little bubble back then.
Yep.
And everybody was taking chances. My friends were going on majors.
And our friends were now becoming Gitter's an A&R guy at a major. All these guys that we knew from earlier days were now at the major, and they were signing everybody because that whole wave of heavy music that took over after Seattle just paved that road for all of us to get on either big indies or majors, and festivals in Europe now wanted all these hardcore bands, and it was the perfect time to start a hardcore band. Like when we did it, it was just like the scene just around us enabled like a path to success if you wanted to work hard.
No, totally. And there's some really great moments. Playing Conan O'Brien was beautiful, and playing the song on there and doing that cool stuff. And we had some great tours. And then when I look back, see some videos of us playing those songs that we've never played again, but only on that tour cycle from the record. Just some weird deep cuts. There's some songs I love, but like I said, live. But yeah, it was a good experience. I'm glad we did it. But Brett Gurewitz from the jump is like, you guys can always come back. He was so cool about us leaving and coming back. He's been like that with The Offspring and a bunch of bands. But yeah, man, it was an interesting time, man, for sure.
That was like Jordan from Revelation. We signed a 3-record deal with them, and I sat down with Jordan. We did one EP on them, so we only half of a record. We still owed them 2.5. And I said, hey, Jordan, this is the plan, what we want to do for A Place Called Home. Do you guys want to spend this money on marketing? And he goes, no, we can't do it, but let me help you make a demo, and I'll help shop you to get you signed so you can leave the label.
Wow, that's fucking awesome.
I was like, what? Who does that?
What a G.
Not
man,
like other
awesome.
guys at other labels in other parts of the country.
Of course.
That were like holding on to bands hostage, not letting them leave, going lawsuits and stuff. And then Jordan Cooper was like, no, if you guys don't want to be here, or not that you don't want to be here, if we can't facilitate what you guys want to do, then let's help you guys get to where you are. Cause he's at the end, it's going to help your back catalog too.
That's it. That it comes from our world. It comes from our scene.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's not like a corporate scumbag.
No,
some
not
shady
trying
guy.
to hold us hostage and make our lives miserable.
We're lucky because MCA crumbled. So we just got to walk away. We had a 9-record deal.
Did you guys get that record back?
Shit. No, I'm working on it now because it's been over 20 years.
Good.
I'm trying to work on it now.
Good.
But we just went under, you know what I mean? Super lucky, man.
Yeah.
So when A Place Called Home comes out in Europe, when you go there for the first time, is it night and day?
It's different, yeah. But the only bummer was TVT screwed up. They were going to launch TVT Europe, and they didn't end up launching it. So, again, vice versa. Now Europe is getting A Place Called only as an import.
Holy wow.
Yeah, you
flipped it. Wow.
Yeah, so we have a U.S. record company with no licensee in Europe, and TVT Europe UK or TVT UK doesn't.
Brutal.
Yeah, and it was rough. And so I talked to Burning Heart, talked to Epitaph, all these guys that were interested. They were like, yeah, we'd love to put your record out in Europe, but it's coming out next week. We can't. It was so late to the game of us getting a record out there. So finally, 3 months later, Supersonic, who had Guano Apes and him and everything, they put it out in Europe for us on BMG. So we got some push, but I think the record could have even been bigger because we were playing way bigger shows. So many more people knew our stuff.
It was insane, man.
But it wasn't like readily available for like the first half of the touring cycle.
Wow.
Which was so frustrating for us. It was just like missed opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just wonder how much bigger and how much things could have been differently.
Was that 2000, A Place Called Home?
Yeah.
And then there's a 6-year gap.
Yeah.
For Our Darkest Days. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What am I? Well, I had a 7-year gap for that.
It's like H2O.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the big one. Isn't the big one for Europe?
Yeah, that's the big one. That's when we finally have a label everywhere.
6 years off, though.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yep. It was, I mean, dude, we toured so long on
you did.
A Place Called Home.
Yeah.
And that's when I got into you guys.
That's a record you heard?
That's the record I came in on.
Did you go back and check out all the other records after that?
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, that's
like,
awesome.
And then it was fun, like, going back now as like, I gotta learn this shit.
Yeah.
As you know, it's, to actually perform it's different than you singing along with
in your bedroom and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was going back, and then there was just like deep cuts I had heard that, like, now going back as a singer, I'm like, oh man, this is like,
can we play this one?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Asking us to play stuff.
Are you doing songs you never done in a while?
We're getting into that. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. Relearning a song that you wrote like 25 years ago.
Then
going, oh, this is pretty cool.
Because he likes it and he's feeling it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a really, really cool thing.
That's going to feel good, too, to bring it back. You know what I mean?
Then it sounds like, because, like, dude, we all had crappy gear back then, and, like, those recordings sucked. So now when we play these songs, they sound like, some of them sound full, like fuller than what you remember the songs being.
On those, are you working a job at that point, or are you just doing music at that time?
I was doing construction up until TVT.
Wow, okay, cool.
And then we got, you know how, like, they were just throwing money around back
Totally,
then, so
man.
you could live for like half a year or something before
So
you went
sick.
and stuff. It was nice, it was nice to not have to get up and go do construction 3-5 days a week, and you could work on music and stuff. So
yeah,
I mean, it was a different shift for like the amount of time you could put into music.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
Especially come back from Europe to its different world, man.
Yep.
Everything, festivals, all that. So Our Darkest Days, that crushes. That's like next level for you
that
guys.
opens up a lot of like opportunity for us. Rise Against is hitting. Then we're playing shows with them,
and you're getting higher on the festival bills and stuff like that.
That's when you can tell on those European festivals. Oh, our font got a little bigger this year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like all
you can see us in there.
Yeah. We're not down in the alphabetical listing. We're above. So yeah, that album we put a ton of work into, and we were like super stoked on how it was going to come out. But at the end of the day, you don't know how people are going to react.
Yeah,
you don't know. All you can do is trust. I like it, and then we put it out, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is like fresh. It's exciting. It sounds like Ignite, but it's new."
Yeah.
And then, that we just ran with it, and we toured off that.
Grinded. I remember seeing you guys. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, we toured like
it was sick, man.
4 years on that record, probably.
Wow.
Like kind of straight.
That's kind of what Hatebreed did on their big record too.
Yep.
Satisfaction, whatever that one is called.
Yeah.
One of the
Death
first
of
ones.
Desire.
Yeah. They toured so hard on that one too. They grinded on that record, man.
Love that guy. Love those guys.
Me too. Shout out to Jamie Josta.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. Fuck. Because
Yes.
I remember hearing about Ignite, then see you guys. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, and it was fun watching it grow. Like, you go play Grows Rock, and that, I mean, maybe at that time the best festival in the world for stuff that we do, and just the place just goes nuts and like comes apart, and you're like, I'm the plane can fly into the mountain on the way home now. I'm good.
Don't say that.
No, but you know what I mean. It was just like I don't really need to. I mean, at that point I was like, I don't need to play another show like as far as having to feel satisfied.
Yeah, Grows Rock's
like,
the same.
It's
dude.
like watching you guys play that stage with no barricade, and it's the craziest thing ever. It was just fun, and that's one.
It's no longer around that festival, right?
Hopefully it'll come back or something.
Please come back, Grows Rock. We love you, man.
Yeah, one of the best experiences over that like 10-year period. I think we played maybe the first one when it was indoor in this weird.
I remember
thing.
that. I think
it was
so.
like, and then it grew and grew and grew, and then all of a sudden it just. Yeah, but it's one of the biggest things out there.
I love Europe so much. The diverse bills they have, man. You could be playing with Wu-Tang Clan, Agnostic Front.
Yeah,
it's crazy bills, man. It's so sick.
Yeah, they're into heavy, extreme music in all the genres. It seems like a little bit more than here, like the fan base. And there was more crossover there. It felt like
for sure
from an early stage between like the hip hop and the hardcore and the punk. It was because you'd go to these we'd play a show like with you guys or whatever, and the show would be done by 10, and then the bus would be parked out front, and you'd see a line of like 1,000 kids waiting to get into the disco after.
Yeah.
Disco loadout.
But sometimes my band members would go to the disco.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say their names, but.
Dude, so fun. But it'd be like rock. It wouldn't be like dance music. It'd be like rock. You'd go in and watch people like
Do we moshing to hardcore songs or something?
In the same club after with a DJ on stage spinning you guys and us, and
it's crazy, dude.
That's a different thing in Europe. That when people ask me what's the difference between America and Europe, that's definitely one of them.
I miss Europe so much right now. It's been 2 years since I toured, man. Europe, probably you guys too. Like,
yes, exactly.
It's so crazy to think we'll go back there someday.
I know
how much I would kill to be backstage eating some shitty
cheese.
Yeah,
oh no, you don't
food,
eat cheese, but
whatever, some shitty whatever tofu scramble,
some food that's sitting there sweating,
just waiting all day. I kill to be in the backstage right now, waiting to play a show in Europe, dude. Oh my god, it's so crazy.
A lot of good memories doing that over the last 30 years.
I know,
really good memories.
Well, it's gonna happen again.
Yep.
So Eli, when's the last time you've been on a long tour?
Long tour, I did. I play, not to get confusing, I play guitar in this band Insight.
Okay.
Which it rhymes, and people like to point that out. And that was a European tour in right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Like I was like flying as we were hearing like shit was going down.
Yeah.
And like we met up with friends I'd made like in Exodus and Death Angel. We met up with them, and they like ended up getting like COVID after that, and it was like that time. So it was like right before.
Kicked in, yeah.
So that was the last time I was in Europe, and it doesn't seem that long ago.
I
but
know,
it's
2 years, man.
And then we did a festival in Mexico City.
Nice.
Like when everybody was shutting down, so it was one of those things where like all the big bands were dropping off, and it was like, oh, we're headlining the side stage. Like, no shit. And it was like, no, you're going on at like 5 on the main stage.
Oh, wow.
Like, hour set. Oh, and that festival was sponsored by Corona.
Oh,
it was just like one of those, like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it back in the country kind of thing. Yeah. Read the room, guys.
So that was, what year was that one?
That was like 2019.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I had to come back because it was the last week of shooting Studio 666, and they ended up having to push the entire production for just one more week of shooting for like a year.
Oh, shit.
And so that was
just
like
all COVID, yeah.
For a whole year?
Yeah, totally.
Wow, man.
And so I'm sure Rhoda was like freaking out, scrambling.
Totally. So this is going to be good to go back. So you guys really haven't played like that many shows together?
Just 6 or 7.
6,
wow,
yeah.
Man.
We played that Punk in the Park with Fletcher got us on that.
That was my first show.
Yeah, and then we just a bunch of like smaller shows. We played a couple with Good Riddance up north, which was fun.
Cool.
And Every Time I Die at the Garden Amp, one of their last shows.
Okay.
And then just a couple other ones, small like little club shows that we've done.
Yeah, and how is it for you to be on stage with a different singer now? Is it?
It feels great to be on stage, dude.
Yeah, I'm
just
sure,
in general,
man. Yeah.
you know. And dude, Eli's a different human being. He's different everything, and it's just it's a completely.
It's a new energy.
It is. It's a different vibe.
Yeah, my son's been playing drums with us, and it's like a brand new energy. And like he's liking some old songs we haven't played from the first record. It's like we put these in the set, same thing.
Dude, I saw the footage you posted the other night from the Garden Amp show of him playing, killing it on drums. It's really good.
So cool, man.
Really
so
good.
I'm so stoked, man.
And then just the fact that it's your son and looking over at him.
It's pretty surreal, man. To be honest, he's killing it though. And he's like, "Can we play like some random songs, like deep cuts?" I'm like, "Sure, we haven't played those in years." But that's exciting too. Like, not just for him, but for you guys. You know, it's like brand new energy.
It is. And we just wanted to keep doing music, man.
Yeah. So what did you do for 10 years between those records? 2006 to 2016, The War Against You. That's 10 years, bro.
It's a decade. A decade of silence.
Were you doing construction?
A decade of silence.
Were you doing construction too? You doing Nations of Fire too, though?
We did. I had a couple side things I was doing. had this other little band,
Last of the Believers.
Yeah, and those were all fun things. Zoli was in Pennywise for 4 years. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So there was time.
And you did the Misfits too.
Yeah, there was time to do stuff. So
nice break.
Yeah, it was. And then by the time we started working on the last record, it was like 2014. So
wow.
Yeah, so it was a long gap, but didn't seem like 10 years.
And how are people's reaction to that when that came back?
Which one?
The last one.
The
War Against You.
Oh,
That response. Because you took such a long gap.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I don't think
it was too long of a time.
I don't think we were on top of our game for that record.
Okay.
There's some good moments on it, but it wasn't.
We all have those.
It wasn't the follow-up to Our Darkest Days that I thought it should have been. Yeah.
Well, it was a long follow-up, though,
It
too.
was.
If it came out sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps. And I think maybe it would have been a different vibe or something. But 10 years is a long time. But yeah.
Long time. But now we're here for the new record, which is self-titled.
It is.
I like that.
Thanks. It was. We had like 4 titles, but
oh, you did.
But when we got together with Gitter, because he's our A&R guy.
Oh shit!
He was
Shout
like,
Gitter.
Yeah. He was like, "What do you guys think about self-titled?" We're like, "Well, we were going to bring it up, but we didn't know if
it seemed lazy."
Yeah, it seemed like, did you guys just not have a title? But
yeah.
And then so we sat down and powwowed, and it was like, no, it's like a new beginning. A lot of bands' first album, like Clash, Ramones, like
of course,
are self-titled.
Ours was self-titled, the first one.
Yeah, and it's kind of
you have no self-titled records.
We don't.
Right? No.
So it was like a little bit of a.
It's perfect, actually.
The next chapter.
No, I like that. I think it's smart.
Yep.
Damn, it's exciting, man.
It is. It's fun. It was fun. The whole experience has just been really fun so far.
Yeah, I listened to the couple songs. Say the ones, This Day, The River, and On the Ropes. They're awesome, man. They sound great, man.
Dude, thank you so much.
You killed it, man. It sounds.
So we were writing all the songs and showing Eli all the songs, and he's like, I'm gonna go home and write like a more old school song.
Really?
Yeah, and so he comes back a couple days later with the song This Day.
Sick.
Music, vocals, everything.
Nice, man.
And he's like, I just wanted to write kind of like a Uniform Choice style song that I thought was kind of missing from what you guys were doing. So it's kind of funny, like the most Ignite sounding song on the record is written by the new guy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so are you nervous presenting them songs at all or no?
Yeah, but it was at that point it was such a like welcoming vibe that I felt like, even if it was stupid, like, I would get jabbed because we're friends, and that's
you've been
what
honest
you do.
with them about those songs, so yeah.
Yeah, no, and it was like a thing where like I felt okay taking chances, but it was like, wanting to like write like one of my favorite like old school hardcore songs that I've never gotten to like just fully go all out in. And so and to hear like Brett go, he's like, dude, you wrote like a Uniform Choice song. I'm like,
so crazy, man.
I was stoked. Yeah. And then the fact that it made the record was like rad.
That's so cool. I'm so embarrassed that I didn't put the 2 and 2 together until this moment. Uniform Choice and Zoli's, it's crazy, and you guys, it's crazy, dude.
That was kind of the
because there's only 2 bands that really do that. It's
right.
them and you guys. It's fucking
totally.
Have people gotten that or noticed that? Maybe old school heads.
Yeah.
But not like the generation later.
Not the newer, like from Our Darkest Days on. I don't think a lot of those younger kids know that band. Yeah. Probably.
It's such a great homage to them too.
It is. Yeah.
You guys like the older stuff. You guys kind of did that like the tempo changes too, which I think when you're just in a garage, you don't know you're doing tempo changes. You're not like setting your like click track and shit like that.
Just like, how do we get to like the heavy
that's that part. You just go there.
And where'd you record the new record at?
We did it with Cameron Webb.
Oh yeah,
down in Santa Ana.
I just sang on a Urethane record there a year ago.
Yeah.
First was because he did a trio record. I think that's the first time I met him.
Yep.
But I got to go do something in the studio, which I haven't sang in the studio in fucking 7 years. And he was on me. Like, I'm happy with my performance, but it was with the real producer. And it's been years since that happened.
Dude, Cameron's intense.
He was intense.
And
he's great, though.
He's like our 6th member. He's always been like, we started working with him on pre-production for A Place Called Home. So we've worked on like 24 years now. We've been working with him. And he just brings it. And I was telling this story the other day that I had to go drop off a hard drive there a couple months ago, way after we were done with the record, and he's got some band in there, a young band, and he's grilling them and giving them the same treatment like that he gives us. And I was like, oh, he does this with everybody.
Yeah.
Felt like he was cheating a little bit, but no, I'm just kidding. but no.
He's on point, though,
He is, and he's into it. If he's going to put his name on it, he's like dedicated to it, and he wants the best product.
Yeah, there's like all the Motorhead stuff in there and telling those stories. And like, so how long did the record take to make? How long did you guys work on it?
14 days.
That's really not a lot of time.
No.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday.
That's some old school shit,
and it was done.
And like business hours, it's like go in there and sing some hardcore punk rock at like 9 a.m., dude.
Oh, yeah.
It was supposed to start like on the 1st of the month, and he had to push it back like a week and a half or something, and I was getting all worried about, because dude, you know how long records take to make. They can go on and on and on. I was like, dude, there's no way we're gonna get this done. It's got to be done by this date because the vinyl is all backed up. It's 8 months and whatever.
It is. Everything's backed up.
Yeah, it's backed up so far. And then we got in there, and then by like day 10, I was like, this thing's almost wrapped. Wow. And we just finished like the leads and the gang backups and the harmonies and stuff, but like all the basic tracks were done in 10 days.
We had like a whole like basically over half a day to dick around with like tones and you do the weird shit at the end of the record.
Totally.
We're like, let's go throw some piano on this part, or
right, yeah.
That's cool.
Had the luxury to kind of do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which was cool. But yeah, it was really quick. We came in super prepared. We demoed each song twice.
Wow.
And he was involved in the second demos, listening to them and making notes. So all the changes pretty much lyrically, musically, structurally were made before we went in to do the album. So it was cool because we got to focus just on the sonics and the tones and not worried about the changes. Because we'd already done the work and put in the work and made all the changes. And Cameron was like, dude, I don't want to be bogged down with where we got to still write a third of the record while we're in the studio. He's like, we have to get that done. And he's like, I want to like, our big decision is like, what Marshall amp are we going to use? What pedal are we going to use? What guitar are we going to use on a part? So we really got to just focus on the sonics when we were in there and the playing.
That's great, man.
Yeah, which made it nice, knowing that the music was done.
Yeah. And Eli, when's the last time you were in the studio recording?
Shit, it was probably, it was that record with Rhoda, the Huntress record in like 2015.
Oh wow, so it's been a minute.
Yeah, and then because the thing with the Holy Grail record was like we were just so like backed up on like time. Yeah. I ended up having to like record everything at my house.
Okay.
And then sending them like the raw tracks to get like reamped, which it's like you think that's a luxury, but I'm like, I don't know how it's going to sound. So I'm like extra trying to play it well. So I'm like more critical of myself.
Totally.
So yeah, it pretty much been since like 2015. And then to go in as just a singer.
And a brand new band too.
Brand new band. And then I think I was mainly nervous to work with Cameron.
Yeah.
Because the first time we went in there, he was like kind of like, I think he was just being honest, but to me, I was like, this motherfucker. Like,
he's super honest, dude. Yeah.
But like when we actually got working on the record, he was fantastic. Like
cool.
It was, and anytime he was just like, you could do that better. I was like, I know, I could. Yeah.
It's cool. He's on you though. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was great, man.
Yeah, it's nice to be in the studio with somebody like outside perspective. All that.
Somebody
man.
that cares.
Yeah.
And not that like we had worked with a producer in the past where it was kind of looking at his clock or looking at his watch.
It's terrible,
it's
man.
hard to like be committed and be all dedicated, but when you're in the same thing with Cameron and he like cares, and that's why we kept going back to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and just knowing that like he's not gonna let you get away. Like if you move on from a part and he's happy with it, you're like, okay, rest assured, like it's gonna be good.
Yeah. So you guys gonna have a single? Are these singles that are available right now? Is it going to be videos you making or no?
I don't know. What is the definition of a single?
Oh, you have a video. You have a video with a song.
We wanted to do a video for all the first 5 songs. So,
wow.
So we did. We have 4 out actually right now, 4 videos.
Okay.
And we just, after we leave here, we're going to go to edit the last video that comes out. The next song comes out Friday with the album. We're trying to hopefully get the video done, or maybe the video is going to come out next week, whatever. But there'll be the 5th video for the.
Okay.
That'll probably be the quote unquote would be the single. I think it's one of the catchier songs on the record, and we were jamming it last night at rehearsal, and it sounded great live. So, so that one's called "The Butcher and Me."
The Butcher and Me. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's maybe these 3 that are out already. And what was the other one? I saw like a teaser for a while ago. I the first title.
Anti-Complicity Anthem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first. That was
the
like
kind of like teaser kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that was like introduce the world to Eli.
Yes.
Which was we kind of kept it, under wraps. We didn't want.
You really did, man.
And it was fun because how many times do you get a chance to roll out a new singer? Like that.
Never true.
So it's like it was going to happen like one time. So it's like we wanted to have fun with it and do teaser videos and like kind of have fun with the whole thing and get people guessing, because people were guessing funny stuff, and we knew they would never guess Eli because he's never really sang before in a band with a proper release. He's a guitar player, so listening
so cool,
to
man.
people talk about like who they think was going to be the singer was kind of fun for us.
Give me a couple.
So people would say, "Oh, Jim Lindberg." And I was like, come on, guys.
Oh, swap.
Dude, come on.
Like everyone thought they were the first one to come up with that.
Yeah, they thought that was super clever. Like, no, dude, he's in a band. Like, then like Russ from Good Riddance,
Okay.
is he going to sing? But no, he's doing his own thing. I mean, Good Riddance is an amazing band.
Totally.
And
Well, there was a whole thing with the all.
Oh,
like
yeah.
little.
Oh yeah, because I put in capital letters. We're excited about all of this, and I capitalized ALL.
Oh man.
And people were like, "What? No
the guys
way!"
from All, yeah, wow.
Scott, or like,
I can see. Yeah, that's crazy.
right. So we had kind of fun with it.
Yeah, and it was fun to like watch. Like it felt like you're hiding in the closet, watching like a whole party of people trying to like figure things out. That's a weird.
So we didn't want to announce Eli until we could release the song.
Smart.
Because it didn't make sense to go, okay, the new singer is the guitar player from Holy Grail. What does he sound? We don't know what he sounds like. It wouldn't give anything away.
Well,
No, totally.
And then too, with like just how social media is, like every time there's something, like most bands nowadays would have been like at the tryout and be like, "Yo, new singer," like selfie, and then
totally, dude.
And so to actually keep it
It's
close to
amazing.
the chest,
It was fun.
cool.
to be able
Yeah.
to do that nowadays for sure.
Yeah, it was fun.
So
And
now you're front with no guitar.
No guitar, yeah.
no guitar for the time being.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be fun to throw the guitar on him
Sure.
for a couple songs?
But I want to see him like without like
No.
his move, his style, like his.
Totally.
Oh, dude, I love it. It's and then just like seeing these dudes jump around, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's hard not to like go all out, and it's been a lot of fun.
The first show we did was at Punk in the Park, and we're on that big stage, and we didn't have a chance to do like a small club show warm up, and it was just like, all right into the fire, and and we were practicing in rehearsal room, so it's kind of small. And I'm walking up to the stage, getting ready to go on, and I'm in my head, I'm like, I wonder what Eli's going to be like on stage running around. And like halfway through the first song, I was like, oh, he's going off.
Sick.
I'm like, old man Brett better get his
jumps
gear
back
to compete. Yeah, dude.
Where was that show? Where was that?
It was at Oak Canyon Ranch.
Okay.
They had 2 stages, 2 days.
It was a good show. First one.
Pennywise was on one day, NoFX was on the other, and then like Voodoo Glow Skulls and a bunch of bands played both stages and stuff. Fear played, man. Awesome.
Oh wow, nice.
Dude, so cool.
So are people coming out that? What about people that know you from your other bands? They're like stoked on it and stuff. Like
No, it's been surprising. There's been a lot of
cool.
people that are like stoked like on this and just like
Yeah.
really getting into it, and like people that I would have never thought that were like power metal type people were like, "Yo, I just bought the shirt." I'm like, "No shit."
it's cool, man.
Dude, so the director, BJ McDonald, am I gonna fuck that up? Totally blanking. But anyway,
You can look it up, yeah.
the director for the Studio 666.
Okay.
He was actually like a Holy Grail fan.
Nice.
So it was like we had that metal connection.
Yeah.
And then he like comments, and then I ended up talking to him at the premiere. He was like a big Ignite fan.
No way, dude.
And so he was like, "Dude, that just blew my mind."
That's so cool, man. Such a small world. You
right?
don't really
Yeah,
know.
totally.
But you never talked to him about Night because you weren't in that band. That's
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Oh, but yeah.
All the people from the hardcore scene, they do all kinds of shit. It's amazing.
It
dude.
is.
They come out of the woodwork. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
We're all so connected. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So the record's out March 25th, right?
Yep.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I guess except for Australia. No. Just
But
kidding.
Europe, though.
Europe, definitely. Yep, it's out there. I just saw the guys at Cortex unboxing it, marking it up, putting it in the shelves and stuff. So, yeah, dude, it's fun. New releases are fun.
Yeah, man.
And we just got
It's been a minute, man. It's awesome.
We just got the
Yeah.
vinyl in the mail the other day, and when you open it up for the first time, and it looks right,
Yeah.
and then you're like, yes, this is awesome. So it's
So what label is it's on? What label in America?
Century Media Worldwide.
Oh, we're always great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Not to
And
be.
Mike Gear is the A&R.
Yep, he's our
Yep.
A&R guy. Yeah.
Man, shout out to Mike Gear. He's been in the industry for like over 25 years, man. Always working with cool bands from the beginning.
Yep, important piece of
Coming from the
scene.
core, everything, man.
and still stoked on
yeah,
everything,
still stoked
man.
on music, man.
Yeah.
Like a true music lover.
Fan.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
and one of us from our scene that's not the typical A&R person.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
You
Like
can
he's
call
been
him and have
around-
a conversation.
He goes to shows. He supports bands. I see
Yep.
him all around at different shows.
He's out at
like
shows every night.
every night, right?
Dude, he posts so many videos from shows. I'm like, that looks exhausting.
Now I'm gonna ask you the couple questions at the very end. That
Yep.
you have any regrets, Brett, in your life?
God, off the cuff. So I got married 2 years ago,
Okay.
which 48 when I got married the first time, and and it's funny.
Wait.
when you,
Okay. We're the same. You're okay.
Yeah, and yeah, you just I think maybe I would have made that decision to do it earlier.
Okay.
Because that dude, marriage is cool. That relation. I mean, you've been.
You wish you met your girl a long time ago?
Well, we met and then we broke up and got back together, and it would have been. I think it would have been cool, but I don't know if I was in the right place.
Headspace, yeah.
Then, but yeah, dude, that like would have been. I think I wouldn't have had a problem like getting married earlier at all.
Yeah.
But like, dude, you think you're so busy and you're touring and like it just seems like life's getting in the way,
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just me making a choice.
So that's the only one. That's good. I like that.
Yeah, that's probably one.
But now you're with the lady, so you're chilling.
She's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, so cool.
It's awesome.
It feels so good to have like a solid team and like somebody you can depend on and lean on.
Course,
and just,
man.
I mean, it's hard to describe if people not married people,
No,
whatever.
100%,
It's
yeah.
just that container of marriage is like pretty rad.
Yeah.
That like
It's beautiful.
yeah,
Partnership, all that. Man.
It is. So
Especially when you're a musician, you're traveling, doing all that stuff, and
she gets it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that was a lot like girlfriends I had earlier, like was like literally a lot of the questions and questions from family too. And these are legit questions, like how long are you going to do this for?
yeah.
You know what I mean? My mom just concerned about me.
Yeah.
Like, how long are you going to tour for? That's a crazy lifestyle. You're like traveling every day.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then, you show her a video from some cool like festival in Germany and she's like, oh, that looks that's cool. That's a lot of people or whatever.
Yeah.
And they get it a little bit more, but they see that she knows the passion. But like, that was never a thing with my wife. She was just like,
You were married to the road, though, your whole life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I loved it. I had so much fun, and I don't really have any regrets regarding that. But now that I'm in the position I'm at, I would be like, I could have been married a long time ago and made this work.
Yeah. Well, you are now. That's a good thing.
It's
You're in a good
amazing.
place.
Yeah, solid. Feels good.
It's crazy the sacrifices you make being a musician, all that, just the different things you miss out, and
Yeah.
Your
relationships, funerals, all
weddings,
kinds of stuff.
like
Everything,
stuff
man.
that you're so committed to being out, and you're like, sometimes you try and can I fly home from Europe for one day for
Yes.
that wedding, and you're willing to do it, and maybe just there's no flights or something, but yeah, you're out, dude. I've missed so many birthdays and weddings and
know,
funerals,
man.
and so have you,
Yeah.
and we all
course,
have.
man.
Yeah,
That last tour I did 2 years ago, I was like, I've never missed my son's birthday ever, and I was like, we can't play the last show of Persistence Tour. It's my son's birthday, so I just flew home that day. We didn't play. I came straight home. I was exhausted, but I just I had to be there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
And at the end
it's
of
so
the
important,
day,
man.
it doesn't matter that you missed that show.
no,
I mean, you think it feels like a big
I
deal at the
know,
time.
yeah.
It feels like, and it weighs heavy,
because
right?
it affects the rest of my guys in the
It
band
does.
too. If they
And
want to go to England,
yeah,
like
exactly. And then you're home, and then now you have these memories of being with your son. I mean, granted, there's memories on the road too, but nothing like with family.
yeah. But they can't replace me. They can't replace me.
That's right. That's right.
And what about you? Any regrets, Eli?
It's weird, like just going through your kind of like Uncle Rico. Wish I could get a time machine, go back
Rico,
and
love
shit.
it.
and shit. Like, but it's just kind of I think I'm at that age where it's like, okay, like all those like decisions I made sent me on this path and put me here in this place. So I'm finally like going
Totally.
like, if I would have done this different, then I wouldn't be like sitting here with you and like
Totally.
be doing this, or like, you just learn so much from like your mistakes. So I'm finally
100%.
like gathering that, but then thinking like, to go back in time and then I got to record all those albums again, like sit down and do that
Dude.
again. Like,
Hell no.
Exactly.
It's funny you say Uncle Rico. I have a quick Uncle Rico story for you guys. I was walking to my son's work on Fairfax, and I'm walking by the Grove, and I look to the right, and it's the actor Uncle Rico and this busted ass Bronco with some girl. And I just looked for a second. I realized I look at him. I go like this, like I'm gonna throw a football. I go,
Yes.
football. And he goes, it was just this one moment. I just kept walking. But I was like, holy fuck, that was Uncle Rico.
yeah, that's cool.
Because he was just in that big movie, the White Lotus, that TV show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's sick. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
it's a great show. Sorry, I blew it up.
Uncle Rico. dude.
What about Brett? What about some daily rituals you have?
Stretch.
Okay.
Dude, I got to now.
Nice.
Yeah, got to
I need to
stretch.
stretch more,
in the
fuck.
morning. I mean, the yoga thing is
It's real.
It is. It's real, and it's like Charles Barkley says, "Man, yoga's just stretching." Like,
That was pretty good.
dude, he's awesome. I love Charles Barkley because he just calls it like he sees it. But I got to stretch in the morning.
Damn.
And me and Kevin, before we go on stage, we stretch the lower back and try and get it's the hamstrings and it's the IT
Yeah, you still
bands.
go off, dude. You go off.
Try to.
You've
Dude,
always went off.
My jump isn't as high as it used to be.
That's all right, bro.
50 kind of weighs heavy. But yeah, I got to stretch in the morning, walk the dogs, and then get to the daily tasks. But like, I love getting up and stretching. It makes me feel good. Gets the heart going.
Yeah.
Gets,
Are you a coffee in the morning guy?
No,
Okay.
no coffee. I do tea sometimes, but My family's Mormon, so we never had coffee in the house.
What?
Yeah. So we never had coffee. Coffee and tea, that just wasn't, it's not part of the culture.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's just interesting.
So more like straight edge kind of.
On coffee and tea.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a drug, right? It like changes
It is
your
a drug,
state.
man.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm having problems with this coffee shit. What about you, Eli?
so on the coffee shit, I am very addicted.
And you work out. I can tell you work out.
Oh, thanks, man.
I can tell. I see your arms.
Yeah, no, I got a pump before I came in here. I try to like, because I've been getting into like the whole like stoic, just it's not a religion, it's just like a mindset kind of thing. But like one of those things is just like, I guess it's like a military thing too. Like make your bed no matter what.
Dude,
which I didn't do for years, but it is a thing. Like you come home, no matter how shitty the day is, I'm like, oh my
facts.
Yeah. So I without fail, like always make my bed. And so I've been trying to get on the like meditation thing, which it's like I'm still like thinking maybe it's a placebo effect. I'm like, but I feel like I am calmer, and I try to do journaling.
That's cool.
And stuff like that. And I actually started doing these like speech warm-ups from like Melissa Cross.
That's my homie.
Which
Screaming in Zen.
I saw you in the video, dude.
Get the fuck out of here. Her name keeps coming up on this podcast.
Yeah, she's cool, man.
Dude, that's so fucking cool
Yeah.
you're doing that, man. I gotta text her after this.
Yeah.
She changed my life, dude.
Yeah,
that's the one thing the major label did for me. They paid for lessons with her. I didn't know who the hell she was back then.
And then I have that DVD.
Yeah, Screaming in Zen.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's dope.
So yeah, I'm trying to do, and it's working like a lot, and then especially with like the acting stuff or just like speaking.
Yeah.
Like throughout the day. So like I try to do that, and then I have these little like mind like little games so I don't get Alzheimer's when I'm old or something like that.
You're younger than us though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I try to like get a workout in before anything, and it's weird because it's like I try to explain this to people where I feel weird taking a shower having not done anything or sweating, like especially being like on the road, like just taking a shower like for the hell of it seems weird to me. So I feel like I gotta earn it and sweat a little bit. So
I like that mentality, man.
Then on our first tour, I didn't do anything for 16 days then, because there was like a run like 11, 16 days where it just like you said in those squats and stuff, there just wasn't showers. Or you go look in the shower and you go, nope.
Yeah, I'd rather just like baby wipe bath.
Yeah, and there wasn't day rooms back when we started like touring. A day room with a shower now.
Do you take cold showers?
Dude, I have messed with those.
I'm about that life right now. I'm trying because I'm gonna get a cold plunge. I'm trying to get one of those.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I love the Wim Hof. I don't know if you.
Okay.
Yeah, Wim Hof with the breathing and the cold showers.
You do that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I'm not gonna front. I do like the a minute at the end of my shower.
Yeah. I'm timing myself actually so I can stay in the cold. So you do cold showers too?
Yeah, I do cold showers and the Wim Hof breathing stuff. Wow. And he says that I don't know if anybody's checked the Wim Hof method, but he says you can control your whole body, yourself, your everything with this breathing exercises and the cold therapy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Your immune system and everything.
Yeah. That's cool because on tour, a lot of times there only is cold showers, especially if you do like a shared shower backstage.
They're gone.
That's when I started first taking cold showers was in Europe because you had to.
Yep. Right.
But it's so good for you, man. Yeah, that's like I really want to do that.
And then it just feels like your clothes like feel better after the cold shower.
Wow.
Like when you put them on, you're like, oh man, I'm like, I'm
so
ready to take on the day.
Man. And making the bed too. That was a big thing that Derek from Separatory is usually hanging out with me, but he's on tour right now. But he's so about making his bed his whole life and how important that is.
Yeah.
It just teaches you something growing up. You know what I mean? I really do it growing up. I did it more in my adult life.
Me too.
I'm obsessed with it. It's like peeling it off at night, get into the blankets.
Oh, yeah.
It's so interesting how that's like a big deal.
And it's just less clutter when you go in the room during the day. That's what I like.
For sure.
Visually, for me, it's just the clutter.
But making it feel like you're a responsible adult, making your bed in the morning, and it's like...
Yeah, it's like a ritual kind of, and then same thing at night,
Yeah, because growing up, you had to make your bed, man. Most families like, make your bed, keep your room clean.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I don't know if it happens anymore, but...
I don't know.
I would go look at my son's room right now.
Right.
And then one of the questions I asked, so you guys are pessimists or optimists? And I can tell both you guys are super positive.
I'm big glasses half full guy.
Yeah.
I have to
I can tell.
I can't do the negative thing, and I don't like to complain. It's just I don't want to. I mean, I'm sure we all do.
Yeah,
we all
we're
complain.
freaking humans.
But I like just to keep the positive. There's always like a chance something can work out. There's a possibility.
You've always been like that,
There's
man.
a possibility.
Yeah.
Let's pull it off. Let's make it happen. Like
that's why you still do music.
Yeah, it's
because you
fun.
love it and you live it and you're passionate about it.
And that was one of the biggest things. Like when it was like the looking for a new singer, it was like, I want to do this. We can still do this. You know, we can do this. It's these people love these songs and people love this band, and it's like we can do this. And it's like, I don't know. That's just like how
you're the OG, man.
That's how I'm wired.
Yeah. I know. You're like the original.
And then it's like also it's like now we're getting older and it's like this is just what we do.
It's
man. It's not like just it's almost doesn't feel like a choice.
There's no retirement plan. There's none of that stuff.
This
is
just what we do. We do this. We do music. We write songs. We play live shows, and it's like it's an important part of my existence.
I know. Even with all the struggles and all the everything.
And there's other stuff that I do. There's other like business ventures and like things I'm involved in a restaurant in Orange County and like all these fun things. But like I just really connect with the music. For me.
The merchandise too. That T-shirt.
Yep.
What's it called? The perfect.
The best blank ever.
Yeah, it actually is.
Did you like those shirts?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
So that's your thing. You guys are still doing.
Yeah, me and Lisk do that. Yeah, we do. We print
the best blank tee ever.
Yeah, we print merch like the ones we printed.
Yeah,
for different bands, Long Beach Dub, All Star, Strung Out. We do stuff.
Cool.
Not a ton of like it's not like a big giant merch company, but yeah, we're filling orders all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So you're an optimist, pessimist?
I think I'm naturally a pessimist. It just kind of maybe something I kind of grew up on. That's probably something to unpack in a therapy session, but
or in your journal.
Yeah, in the journal, there's a lot of that in there. But
yeah.
It's actually like music is kind of what gets me out of that. And actually, that's what drew me to hardcore was like. Because it sounds like it would be really negative music, but there's always like that hope, like together we can overcome. And so like that was something that I always connected with, like specifically in hardcore.
Yeah.
I love metal, but it's not always about the devil.
No, totally.
And like dragons and shit, which I love. Don't get me wrong, but like I think my overall like connection to music is kind of. Yeah, times are gonna be tough, and then pulling yourself out of it, and then
trying through it. Yeah,
and then just trying to see the beautiful things in life.
So like a realist, more of a realist.
Yeah, and then just like, but in that, like when I meet people and have relationships, and like seeing like, oh, this is like a really rad moment right here, and just being like present. Yeah. With that, and as opposed to like,
yeah, it's hard being present sometimes. With
man.
With what we got in our phone, and like, dude, because like it's an extension of what we think our mind is, and like we always got to be connected to it. And like I love putting my phone down and talking, and talking to people, and that's like, we did this tour with Face to Face in South America, and it's a bunch of older dudes, and it was really cool backstage.
Everybody's talking
to each other. It was really cool.
What is that?
I know, it was cool. Great guys, great band. And
for sure.
It was just fun. Just being in like that shuttle going to the show and everybody talking.
Telling stories, just whatever, yeah.
Exactly.
Steve Jobs wanted to create the extension of the human body, and he pretty much did it.
He did.
It's scary,
seriously, yeah.
It's really scary. Like especially having kids growing up in it and all that, and just like trying to manage that.
You get that weekly report and it shows how many times you've picked up your phone?
Bro.
It's gross.
It's horrifying.
It's gross.
And so bad. Like we're 50, bro. So what
and
are we
I know
doing?
people do a lot of business through their phone.
Me too. I make
everything through it, and it's just like. But when you look at that, and it's like over 8-9 hours, it says sometimes on your phone. Like,
I know.
And then the pickups are like in the hundreds. You're just like, oh wow.
Do you check your DMs? You check you run all the socials?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Through the and it's all through your phone.
Yeah. So you're answering all you do, keep in contact with everybody, and you're on it and checking things and. Yeah. What about comments? Do you care about negative comments and stuff? Does it bother you?
It is. I mean, it's so crazy. Like you used to never get feedback. It was so hard to get feedback.
Now all you get is feedback.
And all you get is feedback. Like you give it too much feedback. But
I know, man.
You got to be just kind of like you got to have some thick skin. Otherwise, stay away from it.
Totally.
Because it kills people. Like literally kills people.
It does, man.
The negative stuff, and people don't care. They're just writing and whatever they feel. And I pay attention to a lot of golf and a lot of sports and music. And dude, people are brutal too. Everybody out there
in every genre and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everybody's a critic. Everybody has an opinion.
And yeah.
Even though it's great. It's so.
So I mean, it's interesting to go through and sift through it and kind of because I'm always curious what the feedback is, especially having a new singer now and seeing what people think. So
everything I saw is positive.
It
man.
has been
so positive.
We've been so
man.
grateful that people are like rallying around us, and I think people really love Ignite. And I just think that like they're stoked that we're like doing the band still.
It's incredible. Dude.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's another chapter. There's been a lot of chapters in Ignite. You know, there was
for sure.
the Joe Nelson, and then Randy Johnson, and Zoli was in it for a long time, and then the guitar player and Craig, our drummer, came in. He's been in the band since '97. So there's been definitely different chapters, and it's like for me, it's just.
And you never given up on Ignite.
It's no.
You never have.
Yeah, it's just why, you know.
I love that,
like
man.
Vinny, dude, I was telling Hoya this. Dude, I was 25 and Vinny Stigma was out with Madball in 96 and he was 40 and I thought, there's no way I'm going to be doing music.
Damn.
There's no way I'm going to be doing music by the time I'm 40. I just thought it was crazy because it was just like, I thought it was just something that I was going to do kind of during my younger years and then move on. But dude, Vinny's 66 and he's killing it. Love him.
He looks amazing, dude.
And the dudes from Fear the other night, or when we saw him play, they're older.
He looks great, though. I mean, he sounds good, though.
Dude, it's cool.
So what do you think keeps you going as the original member of Ignite to keep this moving?
I just think that the whole experience of writing that song, recording it, and then that year later when it comes out, and then you go to Brussels, Belgium, or you go to Singapore, and there's kids singing that song back to you that you wrote in your bedroom. You can't touch that.
Yeah.
That's like something special that like nobody gets to do.
Yeah.
And then you start having a little bit more success. And then like, I mean, I think of the bands that are like those 2 tiers above us that are like, dude, that like have like 2,000 people at their shows, 4,000 people at their shows, you know.
Still.
And it's crazy just that to be able to do music. And I'm grateful at our level that we're doing it. But it's, I don't know, just looking at how you connect with people and the feedback you get from writing a song and how it moves somebody's life.
It's amazing. It's like you really can't explain it unless you've done it, or lived it, or it's a beautiful thing. It's great that you're still doing it, man.
It's fun.
And you're looking good. You're aging really well.
Thank you, brother.
Looking good, man. We're wearing like glasses. And
I got glasses on the brim of my nose and a bunch of wrinkles. So
I'm excited for you guys. It's gonna be cool, man. I'm psyched to see you live, perform with them.
Awesome.
Eli's like, I can't wait to get in a band with you guys and do a 13-hour drive to go play a small venue in St. Louis.
That's a younger energy, though.
It is. It's cool.
It brings you to you guys are like reborn, dude.
I do, and that doesn't bother
it's
me.
beautiful,
That stuff's
man.
never bothered me. I love going.
I'm happy for you, dude.
Thanks, brother.
I'm happy. I'm stoked for you too, man. There's a whole different chapter of your life, you know, like, yeah. Any songs you want to specifically talk about? I know you have your notes. You're very professional.
Well, yeah. These guys wrote most of the lyrics on this one. So
okay.
When I get on a podcast where they're, so tell me the meaning of this song, and I'm just like, all right, let me pull this up.
That's cool though, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick. He took a lot of the brunt,
the load,
the
workload.
Yeah. Like just vocally and just melodies and shit like that. So like,
the song that's coming out Friday, Butcher and Me, is cool. I love the message. It's probably my favorite message on the record. And it's super relevant. It's cutting out the butcher, cutting out toxic elements in your life.
Love it,
dude. Because for mental
chopping
health,
the negative
get
fat
rid
off.
of that negative stuff out of your life. You know, that's you got to be happy, dude. We're not here very long.
Hell no.
You know, we're 50. How much? What we got? Like 30 years, 35 years before they're pushing us around.
I hate been thinking about it, man.
No,
I
did
morbid,
too.
but it's like I lived. I feel young, but I know I'm about to be 52. But
I mean, we started this band in '93, so that's almost 30 years. So you got to go from when I started the band till now. I probably got one more of those, and then we're getting like in the later years of our life, Yeah. So,
but then you see Keith Morris killing it in the '60s.
Yep, and same like the guys in Fear. They're old,
dude.
And I respect that. I think it's cool. I like seeing that. It's inspirational.
As long as you can do it, man.
Yeah. So that song "Butcher and Me" is cool. I just think everybody should get rid out of their life whatever isn't mentally making their mental health right.
Yeah.
And I like that we're able to talk about mental health now without it being taboo.
100%, man.
NBA basketball players talking about, I got to take game off mental health and stuff. And
it was always
looked as weakness. And now it's just like, no, it's like part of who we all are.
And especially the past 2 years, it's the percentages are insane with everything with that.
Yep.
With suicide, depression, mental health, it's no joke, man.
No, I agree. So
it's crazy.
Being happy, mental state of mind is so important.
And it's who you surround, like chopping the fat off your life, all the negative people that you surround yourself with. Like, it's not the quality, it's the quantity of your friends. You don't need a lot of friends in this life, you know, ones that like inspire you and pull you up, and it's super important, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's crazy for children who are growing up now with the internet and used to get bullied at school, and now they're bullied at home. they're bullied on their phones 24/7. It's really scary and sad, man.
It is.
It's a different world, man. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Got to unplug from some of that stuff and try and detach from some of that stuff if you can.
It's amazing we get to grow up without it. We got to be outside doing things
different.
I feel lucky, man.
Yeah.
It's I can't imagine just like we're talking about with the comments, dealing with this when you're in high school. I can't even. It's
so important.
It is.
All
it's
being
everything.
accepted and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of we don't give a fuck.
I didn't get my first cell phone till 99. So we had been doing the band 6 years. And
wow.
Yeah, there was no internet really. I didn't get my first computer till probably 2000, 2001.
Holy shit.
So it was
awesome.
so you remember the old days of Thomas Guide, Rand McNally maps in the book.
All
and the
man.
maps trying to pull into a city and find a show and you can't call
pay
a promoter.
phones.
Yeah, the phone. Remember the dialers?
Yes, I had dialers too from Radio Shack.
Yeah, the fake dialers because it was too expensive to $3 for every call.
Dude.
Yeah, so it was just it was a different era,
Yeah,
but it's cool that we've seen both.
Totally. Yeah. I remember operating the phone going, sir, it helps you put real coins in there. I got so scared.
And you think the cops were coming?
That's it. The cops were watching the payphone. That was such an ill touring device, dude. Or making long distance phone calls from the offices at MAD, and then Monday they hit me up. Hey, who used the phone at this venue? I was getting in trouble for long distance phone bills.
It was so expensive.
Calling America.
It was so expensive. Venues, or at a hotel when you check out and they hand you your phone bill,
bro.
And you're like, oh.
And you have 6 dudes in the room who use the phone.
100 Deutschmarks for these calls, right? Back in the day, it was expensive.
Fuck, man.
Yep.
What a crazy world we live in,
dude. Totally.
I'm excited for you guys though. So you can look out for your dates. Ignite is Instagram Ignite, right?
Yep. Ignite Band. At Ignite Band on Instagram.
And are you personally on Instagram?
Yeah,
what's your IG?
It's Alien Satan.
Jesus, all right.
It's the
real deal.
And you're in there too, solo?
Yeah, I have a Brett Rass.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So the whole record comes out Friday.
Yep.
You can get 3 songs right now on Spotify or whatever, right?
Yep.
Those ones I listened to earlier. And I love that it's self-titled, man. I think that's really, it's powerful.
Thanks.
This is Ignite. This is us.
Yep. This is who we are.
And it's crazy you never even had a self-titled record.
No.
Even more crazy that I have 7 records out, and you're about to have the same amount as H2O 26.
I know. Let's get to work.
I don't feel bad when I have Scott Vogel in here, or the Sick of It All guys. I'm like, damn, bro, mad records you guys put out.
I know, and that's one
I feel
thing.
Like a fucking loser.
One thing we want to do differently, it'd be great because, dude, it's so fun writing songs and recording and everything. We want to write the next record in a shorter time frame.
Yeah.
In between.
And you guys listening to new music, by the way, new hardcore bands? You guys pay attention to that?
I do.
Do you have somebody you listen to?
Loving the new Comeback Kid. I
gotta hear that. Yeah,
I just think they're a great band in general.
I had him on the pod. He's super sweet, man.
Right. Awesome guys. I mean, of course, dude, that new Turnstile.
Woo! Let's go. That's all I talk about here.
Dude.
I was like,
yes.
It was funny. We were working on the record, and then that EP came out, and I was texting Nick. I'm like, dude, you into Turnstile? And he's like, hell yeah. And then I'm so stoked for where they're at, man.
Me too, dude.
It's a great record.
I fucking loved it. And I was trying to explain this to Gabe from Midtown yesterday. I went and saw them outside. You might have been at the Garden Grove.
I was out of town, but
okay.
I saw.
And then I just saw them sold out 2 nights at the Nova, 2,500 people a night. And just watching them, just this is so beautiful. The diverse group of kids, ages, skaters, kids into hip hop. It's everything that I grew up loving.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they can make that record. The Glow Glow On.
Yeah, Glow On.
Yeah, Glow On record. Oh, I fucked up. And then Angel Dust too, where they can have these different influences coming in.
Totally.
Yeah.
Angel
it's
Dust
beautiful,
is totally different.
man.
They're just doing what they want to do and believing in it.
I know.
It's cool.
And they kill it live. They're great kids. They sound awesome. But I was watching them in LA, and then on the side of the stage is a singer from 311, singing all the words on stage, rocking out with them.
No shit.
And they love that dude. They're fans of that band. I love that they love all types of music, and they just put in that music comes out.
Totally.
It's beautiful, dude.
Yeah, some of the vocal parts are a little 311
dude, totally
to me, which I think is cool. Yeah.
But you know what's back in the day, it's just hardcore.
Yes.
If we cover a Madonna song, that's some obscure thing we did on the record, or if we're listening to hip hop, you can't have that in your music. You have to just be hardcore. You know what I'm saying? And bands like them and Angel Dust, they put everything in that song. Angel Dust and Justice comes out with acoustic guitar. He's singing all these poppy, amazing songs. First half of the set.
Yep.
Second half, he takes it off, and they do the hardcore Angel Dust songs, and people start going crazy diving.
That's fun.
And to be able to split the setup like that, and nobody gives a fuck.
No.
And they're singing Poppy, and then they're moshing. I love that, man.
I think listeners
beautiful.
are a little bit more open-minded
yeah.
now.
For when we work, for us,
Yeah, because it was like you go home and you get your 12-inch. That's all you listen to. Now people have every song in the history of music coming through their phone.
I know.
And they're like, oh, that's cool. I like this Johnny Cash song and this Slayer song and this. It's just like, that wasn't us when we were kids.
And then my son taking me to see Travis Scott, and there's like 4 mosh pits at the freaking Forum, and I'm like, what the hell? People would dive. I'm like, this is crazy. And now Turnstile's playing Coachella the same night as Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to be out there for that. It's gonna be
I'm
awesome.
going to try to go. I've never been to one. I really want to go.
It's so good.
Yeah, I want to go to that. It looks
too.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
I
want to see
shout out-
Billie Eilish, man.
To the Bronx, too. The Bronx new
Bronx
record.
are dope. Yeah.
Yes.
Matt's amazing, too.
Great band.
Yeah, I'm fucking. There's a lot of great things happening in music and the scene. And when I watched Turnstile, Fletcher was there and Doug Carry-On was there. And I was just looking as like an older guy, like, man, if I never played music again, it's in great hands. Like, this scene is in such great hands of these kids.
Yep.
It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
working hard.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
This is fucking awesome.
Yep.
Everybody look out for the new record, March 25th. Ignite, self-titled. How many songs are on there?
10.
10 songs. Okay.
Yep.
Stoked.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for
Anything
having
else
us,
you want to
man.
say, a plug or anything you want to say or no?
Just go get the record. Check it out.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Later, Toby.
Yo, people always ask me what kind of frames I'm rocking. I've been rocking Caddis for a couple years. They make amazing progressive readers, which I wear. Also, they make sunglass readers, anti-glare, anti-smudge coating, anti-scratch, and anti-aging. That's why I look mad young when I wear them. I'm just kidding. But they make amazing frames. Caddis, so stoked to have you guys part of the podcast. You can go to caddislife.com/Toby10 and get $10 off your first purchase. Stoked. Thank you, Caddis. Welcome to the fam. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. They have now blessed me with my own code. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives.